The short track of Martinsville. We are under our third caution of the day as Robert Richardson spun coming off of turn number 4. We'll take a look at that as he has service done to his truck.
Robert was running by himself. He lost control coming off turn number 4. He does a great job staying out of the inside wall. You see this left rear tire is down. That's probably what caused him to spin out.
We saw how close Derek Cope come to spinning when he blew out his left rear.
You see Bobby East's truck on pit road with damage to the right side. Our fourth caution has come out. He had a tire go down and got into the wall. Let's take a look.
There they are negotiating right between turn 3 and 4. You see him, the 21, right in the middle of your screen. His truck just takes off. Fortunately, Michael, he was on the outside. If he was on the inside, his truck's going to take off anyway, and he's going to take somebody with him. But a single truck accident.
Because of positioning, Phil. Just think if he's down there where Rudiman is. He takes out 2 or 3 trucks on his way up to the wall.
Good job by Bobby to keep that 21 truck up against the wall. There's another view right there coming right at us.
What a strong run for Bobby today. He's been in the top 5, running up front all day. Crocker. Watch, Hornaday just got some gas. He's gone. Here comes Erin into her pit. She did nothing wrong. She just was going to her pit. You got to have some help from your sponsor.
And just barely.
There he went.
Going to be out here.
Todd Bodine is going to receive the black flag, and we got problems with the 25. Boston Reed in the 25 has spun around. The caution has come out.
And the 30 truck of Todd Bodine is receiving the black flag. He got a big break, Michael, by the caution being out, but
Scott's truck.
Flag.
Through the tri-oval, across the start-finish line, 1 lap to go at Talladega.
Todd Bodine came across the line in 14th spot, restarted in 27th, already up to 14th, and he's fanning out to the outside now.
Here comes Mike Skinner in the second line. Johnny Benson moves up. Skinner moves up higher. Mark Martin is going to try to block as they go down the backstretch.
Look at Todd Bodine right out against the wall.
Todd Bodine moved up. He made it into the top 10. He's running 3 wide.
Whoa, there they go.
There they go. Mike Wallace into the wall. And Derek Cope gets almost upside down into the wall. The caution is going to come out. The checkered is going to fly. Mark Martin out in front of the field as they come out of turn number 4, and Mark Martin will win at Talladega.
Yeah, the caution flag is out. It doesn't matter if Mike Skinner drives by him or not. This race is over, and Mark Martin has won again.
Wow.
Todd Bodine may have just made it up into the top 5 at the end of that race.
See all the Derek Cope has
All over this bunch.
We're not going to miss anything. Let's see what happens. Skinner gets into the back of Mike Wallace.
gets in the right rear corner and turns him up in the outside wall. Derek Cope, it looked like he got hit from behind by Todd Bodine. And I'm telling you, Michael, it looks like Todd Bodine is running 4th.
Take a look at
Rudiman
this.
gets hit by the 9, knocks him up into Johnny.
Look at these. They're 5 wide right now.
But the wreck didn't happen because of that.
That was Todd Bodine who got into the 40.
Todd Bodine got into the 40 of Derek Cope, just as the 5 of Mike Skinner got into the 15 of Mike Wallace.
I think Todd Bodine was 4th.
I think Todd Bodine finished 4th in this race.
Unbelievable. Todd Bodine getting penalized, goes all the way to the back, and then potentially could finish 4th in this race.
There's another shot here.
What about this glob? There's 2 things that happened. Todd Bodine turned the 40, and Mike Skinner turned the 15.
Totally separate. Those 2 incidents were totally separate within about 30 feet of each other.
And they did exactly the same thing. They got into the right rear quarter panel of the trucks they were racing.
Now, could that be, and we haven't even talked about the fact that Mark Martin has won this race, his 5th win, but could that be, can it be a penalty for Todd Bodine?
Well, it's the last lap. I don't think you'll see a penalty, but certainly over-aggressive driving by both those guys on the last lap.
Skinner and Bodine.
If there's such a thing as that, is there?
But we talked about it the whole race. These guys really used their heads this entire race. We got down to the very last lap here. Watch this. This is what Dennis Setzer saw here. They're 5 wide right in front of him.
But listen, Dennis, wow, did you see Derek Cope's truck?
Wow.
That looked like something from Twister.
Flying right next to him.
Watch this
Take
now.
a look at this real time. Now they're coming down the backstretch.
They fan out. They're at least 5 wide right here. Mike Skinner's going to make some contact with Mike Wallace. Oh, we broke the camera.
We'll have to get that fixed for tomorrow.
Thumper will take care of it.
Now we need to freeze it right there, try to figure out who finished where.
NASCAR is doing
NASCAR
exactly
will
that.
do that. NASCAR will do that. Remember, NASCAR will look at whatever they can available to them to determine finishing position. If this was halfway through
into this race, we ride along with Dennis Setzer, and what a ride it would have been for Dennis Setzer. Look at the number 40 truck go, wow, spinning by as he goes by him in 3 and 4. Talladega Super Speedway, it was 2 trucks that got together. The 4 of Mike Bliss looked as though he cut a tire, and we talked earlier about we saw smoke out of that 4, and as he was moving up the racetrack very hard towards the wall, he caught Jason White just on the front end. Let's take another look, Phil.
Yeah, more than like to watch top of your screen there. Just took off to the right here, and that truck doesn't do that unless something breaks or a tire goes down, and poor Jason White in the gunbroker.com, Dodge had absolutely nowhere to go. We've got 3 Dodges in the field, and 2 of them are taken out in this one accident. There's another view. You see the sparks and everything. That tire is already down. And Mike Bliss takes a hard turn to the wall.
That's why, as a race car driver, that's what you deal with. Jason's out there minding his own business, running along, but you know that disaster is lurking straight ahead. And in this case, he didn't know it was going to come out of left field and knock him into the wall. But darn, you seen this happen before? You got to be prepared and ready for it.
Yeah, but nothing he could do about that. It doesn't matter how prepared he would have been. He was not going to avoid that accident.
He did it. It's unavoidable accidents. You get in those every now and then. Watch how fast this truck goes to the right.
He never even had an opportunity to touch the brakes. It happened so fast. Got some trucks on pit road.
On the outside, he will try to take the lead away from Todd Bodine.
Josh Wise is going to stay down on the inside. Jack Sprague looks like he has.
He got
it's right behind him.
It's Villeneuve.
Into the wall is Jacques Villeneuve.
That's a 71. Brian Silas coming down pit road. Looks like maybe TJ Bell is caught up against the outside wall with Jacques Villeneuve. Rockingham Speedway sponsor truck. Andy Hillenberg owns that truck. That is the Heathcliff Cat Litter Ford. Watch the 27. He's on the inside.
Did something break, Phil?
It looked like something broke. I don't think he moved up and got clipped in the right rear corner. I think something broke on that truck.
He did go hard right just as they were entering the tri-oval area.
Tore up Andy Hillenberg's Rockingham Speedway truck. Real quickly, Phil, that's the coolest thing ever.
It really is. Ooh, there's another view of it.
Did he move up and get clipped, or did something break?
Well, I'd have to take another look at it to see if...
Oh, no, something broke.
I think something broke, and that's why he moved up initially. Then he made contact with TJ. Brian Silas came along with absolutely nothing he could do about it.
Yeah, 2 trucks there, the 50 and the 71. Nowhere to go, just getting
the finish. He goes up the hill a little bit there. That couldn't be planned, was it, Phil?
It didn't look like it. I would think he would want to stay right on that yellow line. Johnny went up there with him, and it's going to allow Mike Skinner to get a little momentum.
He's coming to the pit.
Oh, problems for Jack Sprague. He's going to slide in front of the field. Right into the tri-oval they go. Jack Sprague slides into the infield and catches about 3 or 4 trucks. One of those being the
Ron Hornaday got caught. There's Eric Donnell, made hard contact with the inside wall.
6 of Travis Quapple's got big damage.
There's the 6 of Travis Quapple. A lot of good trucks involved here. Ron Hornaday definitely got a piece of that with a right rear corner.
I think that was I think that right front tire must have went.
He knows that something's wrong.
Watch right there. See the fire come out of exhaust. He let off right there, and Johnny just didn't know what was happening.
Look at Darnell going across and hitting the inside wall.
Yeah, and Jack turns right back in the middle of the pack there.
And then Hornaday just almost threw it.
Barely got clipped.
Was all the way down in the grass. Terry Cook, a lot of damage to that Harris Trucking. Toyota comes down and makes contact. You see the flames out of the exhaust pipes right there. Now it turns Jack right in front of the field.
What a helpless feeling for Jack Sprague. But fortunately, he got banged around, but nothing ever hit him real solid. So he was able to walk away from that mess.
Jack Sprague starting on the outside of the front row. Let's ride along with Brick Properties. 2 back from Jack.
You see how little Rick got out of the throttle. He made that initial contact with Johnny. Here's Dennis Setzer's on board. There's Travis Quapple right in front of him. That's not going to be a good ride for Travis. Oh, nice choice. Nice choice by Dennis Setzer to turn hard left.
Watch the fire come out of the exhaust. See, he can't even see that. He has no idea what's fixing to happen.
I didn't see any wave, did you? There's the fire. That's just backing off the throttle. You're going to see that.
Let's go down trackside. Jack Sprague's with Adam Alexander.
Yeah, miles an hour slower than our pole sitter, Todd Bodine, and he's racing up in the top 10.
He's got her warmed up now, though. She's going to town. but they're going to run out of room.
Dennis, I don't think there's any room right there, Dennis. Thank you. Thank you for backing off.
Glad that was
trouble. Problems. We got problems on the racetrack. It looks like the 00. Yes, it's Josh Wise and that 00, the Aaron's Dream Machine.
Yeah, the 40 of Chad Chapman was on the bottom.
Those guys were just bumping each
other. Behind the pack.
4 wide, 5 wide, 5 wide.
You know, we heard Dennis Setzer let off because he didn't want to go in that hole. Josh was committed to the outside of Dennis, and Dennis moved up, and they crashed.
4 wide.
It was 5 wide.
It doesn't seem to work here at Talladega.
Look, it was 5 wide, and obviously there wasn't enough room for 5 wide, and unfortunately Josh is going to pay the price there along with Chad Chaffin.
But sometimes it works, and that's why they keep trying it.
Bob Dillner.
Difficult break for Josh.
On the line, Ron Hornaday moves towards the front. Josh Wise has problems on Talladega. Absolutely demoralizing this is for Mike Skinner. He's been black flagged. He has to come down onto pit road. If they
they're getting together.
Got problems behind him. Mike Wallace gets turned around in the 03.
He may save that truck.
Oh, great.
He's going to keep it out of the wall. Caution is out, though.
What a huge break for Mike Skinner. He can get to pit road and tape that thing down. Rick, you asked earlier, how will that...
Again, coming through the tri-oval.
They all got in a bind.
See, Mike, the 88 and the 13 teammates got together, and they made contact with the 03 of Mike Wallace. Mike did a nice job keeping that truck out of the wall.
That's a chain reaction.
Now, Mike Wallace will be able to come onto pit road, change 4 tires, and get right back out there, and he'll be in the hunt for this thing once again.
Watch right here now. What?
It appears we're going to have a green-white checkered, and we know that that's enough to go from, 27th to 4th?
Yep.
So
top of 9.
Don't think anybody's out of this deal.
Good view right there out of Rick Crawford's on board. You see the 03 of Mike Wallace spin down to the apron of the racetrack.
White flag in the air. 2.66 miles remain. Bodine in front of Crawford.
Here's Kyle Busch. He jumps to the outside. He's going to try to make something happen, and nobody is going with him.
Nobody goes with Kyle Busch as he moves to the outside. Will they try to make the move coming out of 2? Will they fan out and see if they can get by Todd Bodine?
What's Rick Crawford going to do? He's right now in second. Todd Bodine's our leader.
Crawford is going to wait till the last minute, it looks like.
Still single file through turn number 3. Rick's going to move up, try to get a little momentum. He needs to create a little bit of a gap to get some momentum.
This is it. Will Johnny Benson give Rick Crawford any help as they come through turn 4? Into the tri-oval they go. It's Todd Bodine. Now Johnny Benson looks to the outside. Here comes Rick Crawford. As he goes to the outside. It's Crawford on the outside. Bodine. And they go across the start-finish line. Bodine by 14 one-thousandths of a second in front of Crawford.
What a great finish. It almost looked like they may have waited too long. He got so close.
Johnny Benson moved to the inside.
Need all day.
Problems right there. Jack Sprague into the wall hard.
Looked like he got run into from behind. Made pretty hard contact with the outside wall. It's already there. There's a 51 of Kyle Busch. Look for a little contact. Kyle moves to the inside. Jack comes down actually on Kyle, and it swings him out towards the outside.
Conway freight truck goes sideways. It's Colin Brown gets turned around. The 15 of John Andretti spins as well. And so the caution comes out now for the 3rd or 4th time today.
The 6 blew a left rear tire, I believe. I thought I saw a tire coming off the 6. Yeah, you can see the tire's flat.
Yeah, we were watching it on the 16 of Brian Scott. And then all of a sudden, bam, the tire goes down. Around it goes. You see the carcass flying off. And John Andretti was just caught by the back end of that Conway Ford.
What a great job of driving those trucks did there to avoid that.
They did a fantastic job, and how lucky.
1 to go. Colin Brown is leading in his Ford on the outside. Here comes Kyle Busch once again on the inside.
We're going to make it back around, Mikey?
I don't see how. I'm shocked we made it this far. I love the job these guys are doing, but I just can't explain how difficult this is, Phil. All these trucks are trying to crash.
Colin Brown now has the nose.
Oh, there it goes.
Problems behind him, and this will end the race. Who's in front?
The caution isn't out yet. This is all behind the pack. Maybe the caution hasn't flown. No caution.
They still haven't thrown the caution. Kyle Busch is in front of Todd Bodine. Colin Brown hung out on the outside. Can he get help from TJ Bell in time? Coming out of turn number 4. Now Todd Bodine moves to the outside. Bodine makes the run. They go through the tri-oval. Can Kyle Busch get to him? Here Todd Bodine and Kyle Busch. It's Todd Bodine at the line. He'll win again.
And TJ Bell into the outside wall, comes across the line 8th. into the outside wall.
How about Todd Bodine winning the last 3 super speedway races?
He was able to get Kyle Busch sideways off turn 4, and that broke Kyle Busch's momentum. He jumped to the outside, and what did it open up? The floodgates. Here they all come.
Look at, do you see Rick
Yep,
Renn?
Rick
How
was
happy he
celebrating.
was. Ron Hornaday comes across the line in second. Johnny Benson 11th.
We have all the track he could possibly use.
He saw what Carl Edwards did a week ago.
Watch
Use
this
the
move
wall.
right here. Watch him get him sideways. Right there. He's going to the inside.
Teammate Ron Hornaday like glue right now. He said the crew chief John Monson told Ricky Carmichael right now the 13 who was behind him in line down low said he's getting a little antsy. Just stick with Hornaday and keep chewing up that yellow line. Rick?
Yeah, it looks like the right front tire is down on TJ Bell's number 11 truck. And so that brings out our first caution of the day. TJ Bell couldn't get it down off of the racetrack early enough. And
Let's watch now. He's on the outside line. He feels something go wrong there, steps out of line. The tire actually went down right there. We could see bits of rubber fly off the truck at that very moment.
It's hard to understand what exactly did happen there. I was thinking it'd be hard for him to have run over any debris. They've had the jet dryers out there.
next stretch.
Eric Almirola got a shove in the back from Brian Scott, almost turned him sideways.
Right to stay in line. Amazingly enough, the sun out here at Talladega. Terry Cook in front of the 88 of Maverick. Problems. Colin Brown gets sideways into the infield. It looks like Taylor Molsom's going to make contact with the inside wall.
That's that bump drafting gone awry there, I have to believe.
No doubt.
Unfortunately, Taylor's going to be the one that's going to really pay the price.
Put tires on.
Colin Brown, I don't think, got any damage.
6 on the 5, and then he checked up, and right behind him was Chad McCumbee.
And then Ricky Carmichael gets in the back of Taylor Molsom. Nothing Ricky can do at that point. You can't see through these trucks. Ricky had no idea what all was going on in front of him and got in the back of Taylor.
Just a chain reaction deal. You see the pack seize up.
See everything happening up there? Ricky Carmichael has no idea all this is going on.
Again, contact made between the 6 and the 07. Chad McCumbee may have some front end damage, at least cosmetic damage to the front of that truck as he got into the back of the 6.
Pit road is not open yet. This will be, we're in the window now. This will be the last round.
That has been up front. He's led 15 laps. Colin Brown's led 26 laps. Skinner's led 9.
And don't forget about Matt Crafton, who was in front of this pack. He wasn't your leader. He was on the tail end of the lead lap. But
problems! Mario Goslin turns around. Can he keep it down low? Try to stay out of the line of traffic. He does an excellent job. Stays to the bottom of the racetrack until they cross the start-finish line. The field goes by. The MyTireMonkey.com truck now headed the right race with MyTireMonkey.com. Take a look. Right behind him, that's Max Pappas.
Max is like right there. He's appearing to look like a dart with no feathers. He was just buffeting all over the place, and with him not having his truck straight and then trying to bump draft on top of that, it just was disaster for Mario Goslin. Fortunately, like you guys said, Mario was good enough to keep that thing from returning back up in the middle of traffic. Great job by Mario.
But watch that 9 truck. He was on the inside, on the outside, back and forth, and then unfortunately Mario was the one that paid the price.
You got to make sure you're going straight when you bump draft a guy, and even so then, Rick, you don't want to be bump drafted in the tri-oval because you're not going straight. Watch all the moves made here by Max. Outside, inside. Oh, I'm going to hit you. And now he continues to do the same thing. Got Mario weaving around and spun him out.
So around goes Mario Goslin. The Aaron's Lucky Dog is going to go once again to the 0-2 of Steve Park. This is real time. This is the way it happens. Take a look at that 9 truck.
You can look at Mario steering there, trying to keep that truck straight.
Listen to, he was hard on the gas too, wasn't he? He knew he didn't want to go back up in the middle of all that traffic.
Steering the entire time though. Great job by Mario.
That tire monkey probably helped him.
The 30 of Todd Bodine moves up there as well, Adam.
You got
And
the
Todd
help.
Bodine
You got
last
the help.
lap said, let me
Let's
know
go
when there
with it.
are 2 laps to go. That's obviously not the case right now. Still 4 remaining, but Bodine trying to make his move to the outside, and we have trouble on the back straightaway.
Problems for the 14 and the 5. Now they all bottle up behind them. The 16's into the wall. Hornaday, your championship leader, is into the wall. A lot of damage on the backstretch. Oh, and Max Pappas gets into the 5 of Mike Skinner as they're slowing down the backstretch.
Wow.
Johnny Sauter was trying to get back in line in the middle. There was some cover screen. Johnny Sauter in the 13 gets into the quarter panel of Mike Skinner.
Look at Crafton slide by barely on the outside. Colin Brown barely through the hole.
Ooh, look at Rick Crawford's rear end lift up off the ground.
Ricky Carmichael takes a spin. A little bit of damage on that truck.
Timothy Peters involved.
Timothy Peters, our winner from last week, crashed this week.
So look at him coming straight at you down the backstretch.
It looked like the 30 of Todd Bodine and Skinner washed up to the high side, and they wanted to get back over there to the inside. And when Skinner went to the inside, what?
Max Pappas just running into the side of that 5 truck.
There's another, you can see right there, Johnny Sauter got bumped around. Then he got into the 5 of Mike Skinner. Mike got into the 14 of Rick Crawford. Chad McCumbee comes along, he's involved. Brian Scott, there's the 16 truck, the 33 of Hornaday. Looks like James Busher, very little damage. And then here comes Max along. Here's real time.
Most of these crashes happen on the straightaway, it seems, Phil.
And it's amazing. You wouldn't think that would happen, but it does.
People scrambling to try to get back in line. It looked like Skinner was trying to get over toward that bottom line. And Sauter was determined to stay in that hole.
Ron Horday's Copart Chevrolet right there, along with him.
In Johnny Sauter's defense, we're talking 2 or 3 laps to go. He backs off the gas right there. You know, obviously, watch.
See Skinner, he's on the outside. He was trying to pull back over in line behind Todd, and Johnny had tried to close that hole up, tried to take that hole from him.
Take another look. This is real time.
That's just, I mean, it's really difficult to assess exactly who to blame that on. I mean, Skinner was trying to pull over a little bit. Johnny was in there a little bit. They got together and it caused a big crash.
Speedways.
Anything happens now. It's Todd Bodine's race. The caution flies. He wins.
Matt Crafton still has a bit of a run on the outside. He's even with the 51 of Kyle Busch.
And he has Colin Brown behind him, one of the stronger trucks today. Can that outside line move? Down the backstretch they go.
Look at them all moving around, all the bump drafting going on.
Todd Bodine, Kyle Busch, 1 and 2 down the backstretch. Here comes the
Crafton.
88 of Matt Crafton. A good push from the 6 of Colin Brown. He gets shuffled back. Todd Bodine goes up high. Now they're moving 2 and 3 wide out of turn 4. Todd Bodine hugging that yellow line as they come out of turn 4. Just the triangle to go. 4 wide through the triangle. Here comes Kyle Busch. He goes to the outside as they come to the stripe. Kyle Busch will win at Talladega.
Good job, dude. Good job.
What a move by Kyle Busch and his teammate Eric Almirola.
They figured it out. Kyle figured it out. All he needed was a teammate behind him.
What a
Good job,
finish.
buddy. Good job, man.
Kyle Busch continues to add to his unbelievable numbers. His 15th
You got
win.
it, dude. Thank you so much, guys. Great job.
Team owner.
He was from 6th to 5th. Now after a couple more laps, he's running in beside the 4th place truck.
It took him, oh, watch, we got a slow truck up high.
Let's stay up high, slow truck.
We'll see if at 48,
And he did.
Ryan Silas will stay up top, off the pace. But you see Ken Schrader against side drafting right now with Austin Dillon.
And this is great information Schrader's collecting right now. He knows late in the going, he has a truck that can go to the top side and lead a group to the front.
Mario Goslin in the 12 on pit road. What's going on, Krista?
Rick, this was not a scheduled stop, or at least an earlier stop than scheduled. They had the hood up. Mario telling his crew, check the coil wires. I don't know what's wrong. Right?
Krista, I wanted to give you a quick ad on Chris Fontaine. Michael was talking about what a great job they did in qualifying. His truck just a little bit tight off the corner, driving number 84 today. But this particular race truck has had so much success when we talk about super speedway racing. In 2001, Joe Ruttman won at Daytona in this very truck. Then Robert Presley went to victory lane at Daytona, and Bobby Hamilton in 2005. The truck is called Freak. It's run more super speedway races than any other chassis, and Chris Fontaine's hoping to hang on for a good finish.
Oh, trouble. And we got problems. Jeffrey Earnhardt slides. He had contact, slides in front of a few trucks.
Takes him in the wall with
He got
him.
Justin Lofton with him in the 7. They go into the wall, and the caution flag comes out on lap 23.
They caught up to a pack that was not running on the lead, that was actually getting lapped. And it really created a mess when you had the disparity in speed going on.
Yeah, they were really mixed up in the tri-oval. It just took them all the way down to turn
take
one.
it to the garage. Take it to the garage. God dang it.
Disappointment.
And Mark Rett, that's Justin Lofton's crew chiefs, and can't even believe he's in this situation right here.
Justin Lofton won the ARCA race here last year. We see Jeffrey Earnhardt pulling his steering wheel off of that
There's
truck.
nothing you could have done. Your radiator's knocked out of the thing, so if you just want to get towed
Great
back,
job
it'd probably be
doing
the
it.
best
Just
thing.
a terrific job.
And it looked like there was some contact there for Jeffrey Earnhardt. He got loose down on the bottom, just wasn't able to correct it and stay in the right line. We take a look from up above.
You can see him lapping some trucks there. Earnhardt goes into a hole. Oh, man. He and Max just made some contact. And you see Justin Lofton absolutely nowhere to go.
Looked like Max forced him down into the 93 of Mike Garvey. There's another view.
You can see this is where they get in trouble, exiting the tri-oval. Jeffrey's going through a hole there that's plenty big for him to get through right at this moment, but then right there, the hole closes.
His truck was wiggling a little bit, and
Looked like
he and Max came together.
Didn't look like he was 100% comfortable going up in that hole, but he was up in there, and then
sometimes you can get sucked into that hole by the draft,
and also sucked around when you get inside of it, move your truck all over the place. Check out the job the 53 truck here of Hobgood does. Pauses, waits, watches, and then calmly goes to the bottom.
Yeah, headed right toward it. If he'd have locked the brakes up, he'd have run right into him. Good job by Justin.
If Justin had done anything other than just be patient, he would have been crashed, but he does a wonderful job.
I think Grant Enfinger was very fortunate, too, when the 6 turned around sideways, almost backed into him. Grant was able to get by on the outside.
The thing that Justin in this black truck does that's even more impressive, he can't see anything. I mean, the smoke is just blinding him right here at this moment, but yet he's calm.
We're riding along now with the 6 of Jeffrey Earnhardt.
See if we can see what he's... Off the gas a little bit on it. Oh, wow. Needed a little more room, Phil.
Yeah, they just squeezed him in on him there from both ends. He didn't have a whole lot of room between Max on the outside and the 93 of Mike Garvey on the inside.
Unfortunate incident for not only Jeffrey Earnhardt, but also Justin Lofton. He's already out of his truck, surveying the damage, and there is a lot of it on the front end of that number 7 Toyota Tundra.
It's going to be an opportune time for a lot of these guys to come to pit road. Pit road this time was closed, but I'm sure when it opens, they'll all be on it.
On the back of the record, the 6 of Jeffrey Earnhardt. A short day for that young man. Welcome back to Talladega Super Speedway. We just heard on the radio Austin Dillon saying, guys, it's out of fuel. Adam, what's going on?
It was another 2 or 3 laps before they were planning to come to pit road under green, and Danny Stockman, his crew chief, has walked him through every. At lap 59, the last time they came in and made a stop under caution at lap 26, it will be 4 tires because it will take so long to put in the fuel. There's no need to go with 2 tires only. Left side tires going on now, and Hornaday's service will be complete, and I believe Ken Schrader will be leaving pit road with him.
More
we're going to have problems coming on to pit road. Max Pappas sliding sideways. He gets into the inside wall.
2 laps in a row, Michael. We can't manage to come down pit road.
I just don't understand it.
Fun and hit the wall.
A lot of damage to the front of the 9 truck of Max Pappas. His day is done. Fluid running out from underneath that. Jennifer Jo Cobb ran out of fuel. She couldn't get back to pit road. And we're under caution again, Ray.
Look at damage on the left front of Todd Bodines and also on the right rear. The big question here will be, did he make it on the pit road and in the commitment cone before the yellow was out? We saw that crash for Max Pappas. They knew the caution was coming out, but they were going to run out of fuel, so they knew they would have to pit. Bear bond going on the front of this thing. Will the aerodynamics be okay for him to be competitive in the rest of this race? They continue to work on that left front. Couple of extra guys over the wall here. Looks like the damage on the right rear is not a big problem. They've got that fender under control. A lot of damage for Max Pappas, though, as he rolls down pit road right behind Todd Bodine here. We'll have to check and find out if Bodine made it onto pit road legally or not.
Let's take a look at what just happened. And this is what we were talking about. Coming onto pit road, going 200 miles an hour down to 55. Hornaday trying to get off of the track and on pit road. Yeah,
Todd was not going to pit. Didn't look like was going to go to the pits with him and pulled out, and Jason White drove right into the back of him. Now you see the 46 gets stuck in the middle, but he's determined to pit. Somehow he got up off the bottom. He's got to pit and just turns across Max.
You know, the problem, Max had plenty of room down there.
Just make a left.
Turn left. The double yellow line is racing. It doesn't say you can't go below the double yellow line to make a pit stop, because you have to go below it.
You see, Jennifer Joe's not a part of the problem. That's way before they get to coming off pit road. It looked like Max, I don't know where he was going, but it didn't work because of the combination of where Craig Ghost was going. That's what's so frustrating to sit here and watch. That's the why. You've got more room to operate down there than you do anywhere on the whole circuit, but yet we can't work out making it to pit road without a problem. And like you said, Phil, it happens every year. And this time it's happened every lap we've tried to pit.
Sure has. You know, Jason White has damage. He ran in the back of Todd Bodine. Todd has damage. Ray reported front and rear. I believe I would put some material instead of that barrier bound on the front of that 30 truck of Todd Bodine.
Yeah, I believe Mike and those guys need to get some aluminum out and put a patch underneath that barrier bond so that front can keep, you know, it's got to stand up to 200 miles an hour worth of wind if he gets out in front.
And there's still a lot of laps to go. 33 laps remaining in this race, which is a full fuel run at this racetrack. And oh, by the way, Chris Fontaine in that 84, he's out front.
I believe I might duck over onto the
onto that apron.
On the apron, maybe.
Well, remember, Chris Fontaine is one of the guys that pitted on lap number 31, so he had 5 extra laps of fuel than all the cars that pitted, or trucks that pitted on lap number 26.
Fontaine, Eric Almirola, Grafton, Sauter, Busch.
James Buescher now is a lap down. Remember, he made his pit stop. He and Ricky Carmichael came out behind the lead pack. James Buescher, I think, will get the Aaron's lucky dog. Ricky Carmichael would be stuck 1 lap down now with a good truck.
Well, and plus the chance that I'm sure he'll get the wave around. He'll be in front of all the other trucks. So those guys that pitted early that got a lap down will get the wave around. Krista.
Kyle Busch, one of those trucks that came in on lap 31 to top off, but he had a lucky break because they had been planning to come in on lap 59. Kyle didn't know when lap 59 occurred. Had he come in, he would have been stuck before that caution came out. He said, Eric Phillips, even though I didn't know what lap it was, good job. 4 tires and fuel for the 18.
Chris Fontaine comes in as the leader, and this may be the gamble you were talking about, Michael. It looks like they're going to do right side tires only on this number 84. They've got a bit of a hang up on the right side for some sort of a problem there, so they'll continue to work on that, but doing right side tires only to try to keep some of this great track position that they've gained after this caution. Adam?
And you saw Eric Almirola on pit road, middle of your screen, a 4-tire stop for him, and it appeared there were some struggles on the right side. He's going to lose some track position as he exits, but Richie Waters, his crew chief, said this, as you see Fontaine leaving pit road first. He said, we cannot afford to ride now to driver Eric Almirola. There's not enough time left. Stay out front. We need the track position.
Topping it off with fuel, that is for Ron.
They're trying to pit or something. We've seen it about all today.
Yeah.
We have trouble pitting.
Pull the tape off the top if you can.
We have trouble lapping trucks.
Yeah, the reason we're under caution, let's take a look now.
Same situation as earlier, Michael, with that accident we had go over in turn number 1. See the black truck. He's on the inside. He's a lap down. Chris Fontaine makes contact with him.
I just need a little space is all I need, guys. And he didn't get it. But look at this save he makes. Keeps the thing heading the right direction, lets off the brake just at the right time, gets it rolling in the right direction.
Right along with Austin Dillon.
Watch this up ahead. See that black truck turns down to the inside. Austin says, I wonder where he's going to go. I know he's coming back up the racetrack at some point. Fortunately for Austin, it was behind him.
Here's the race off pit road. And it's a close one. Kyle Busch, front bumper.
You know, we talked about the 30 trying to beat the 18 off the pit road. And you know he gained almost a truck length in that from the time he left his pit. Too fast in leaving the pits. He will have to go to the tail end of the longest line, Ray.
And I'll tell you what, Phil, they had contemplated putting tires on that Valvoline Tundra, and Mike Hillman called it off at the very last second there, but now he's saying, what do you think, Bud? Should we put these tires on since we've got to go to the back? They've got them up on the wall, ready to go, so we'll see what their decision is, whether they come in here and get these tires at lap 76. What's happening on your end, Adam?
Very interesting conversation when the caution came out for Jason White. It was pretty much a consensus. No doubt we're going to pit from the crew standpoint. Jason White said, if I don't need fuel, I'm not pitting. So they came back and said, okay, save fuel, stay out. We could be a big question mark if we get a green-white checker, but he feels pretty confident he can save enough fuel, and I think he's really enjoying the view. 23 out front as we close on 15 laps to go.
You know, in the spring here, I think we had the maximum 3 attempts at a green-white checkered for the Cup race. They ran 30-some extra miles. So Jason better hope that doesn't happen today. He'll never make it to the finish.
Right.
For Fresh Wranglers was the call from Mike Hillman Jr. He and Todd Bodine talked it over a good bit. He said, if I'm coming from the back, I want every opportunity. Here go those 4 tires. They'll get them on. They've got plenty of fuel. This thing's got a complete fuel load. And Todd Bodine will start from the rear. We'll see how much.
Kyle Busch to the win here last year. Kyle Busch was in the truck he's driving. Oh, there they go.
Hornaday goes around. Lorraine Karthikeyan almost upside down, and he does go on his hood as Ron Hornaday.
There just wasn't any way.
Hornaday rolls again in turn number 1.
You said it, Michael.
That started too soon, Phil. They were doing that for 25 laps.
See Ron moving around inside of that truck.
Trying to get free from the 33. You see the movement.
I'm sure NASCAR will red flag this race here.
Talk to us, Ron.
Safety crews immediately to him.
Here comes Todd Bodine to check on Ron.
He clicked the mic. He's all right.
Feel good. I saw him moving around in there.
You saw Todd Bodine run up to the side of the 33 truck. Competitors and very good friends.
What about this sport? Last week he celebrated in Victory Lane. This week he's on his roof with just a couple of laps to go.
He's out. He's out. It's all good.
Bodine happy to see his friend Ron Hornaday getting out of that truck.
A real good truck there today, guys. Not our fault. We was in the hunt. Pack all this stuff up. It's in the wrong place. It needs to be in Kernersville.
Safety crews attending to Hornaday.
I think maybe Ron had signaled to the safety folks that he needed them to flip the truck over because he was stuck in there. That happened to me one day in Daytona back in '04. I turned over and there was no way I was getting out, and they had to flip the car over so I could make my way out of the car, and I'm sure that's what's going on with Ron. Looks like they're putting straps around it so they can roll it.
You saw the same thing with Ryan Newman a little while back where he was upside down. They needed to get that vehicle turned back on its wheels so they could get out. You see Todd Bodine coming back over now, checking. There's Grant Enfinger having a great run. We had just talked about it. Now his day is done. A lot of damage to the front of that 2 of Ken Schrader. Again, red flag condition here as we had just 3 laps of racing remaining coming through the tri-oval, and that's where the mess started.
So Mike Skinner's truck also with a lot of damage in that last shot. There's Lorraine Karthikeyan's truck with a lot of front damage and rear damage. That's Mike Skinner's truck right in front of Lorraine's truck. Well, we talk about the big one. We talked about at the very top of the show. We've been pretty fortunate. We've been trying to have a big one just about from the drop of the green flag, and unfortunately it came here just in the last 5 laps.
I was going to go hug every one of those guys if they were able to somehow figure out how to crash, because it's just too hard to do what they're asked to do. You know, those bumpers not lining up, the trucks moving around all over the place. And see what caused this to start.
Looked like the Todd got pushed by the 95 of Grant Enfinger, and it turned him into the truck on the inside of him. And then you see Ron Hornaday going upside down.
Grant was just doing what he saw there. Ooh, wow, look at that hit late by Todd. Grant was just doing what he'd seen everyone else do. A rookie at this. First start.
Now, watch the red truck. He's going to push Todd Bodine, and it's going to turn Todd sideways right there into the 5 of Mike Skinner. Mike gets into the 33 of Hornaday.
Just too big of a push. Look at the job that Matt Crafton does, sneaking around the outside.
And when these trucks get backwards, obviously we talked earlier about the spoiler being at 65 degrees. When they go backwards, it lifts that back into that truck of Hornaday up and onto its top it goes.
Plus, he was not only backwards, he's getting pushed by Mike Skinner too, so I'm sure that helped ramp that truck up in the air. But as you see the trucks going out of the screen to the left, all those guys are getting ready to do it all over again, Rick. They got a couple of laps to try to figure out how to win this race. And if you survive this crash, you think you still got a shot to win the race.
And you know what, Rick? They're going to put this completely out of their minds. All the guys that saw this and they're going to see the aftermath, they're going to put it completely out of their minds and race hard for 2 laps just like there's no tomorrow.
We'll be holding our breath once again when we see the green flag come back out. Again, they're righting the 33 of Ron Hornaday, getting it back onto its wheels. You see the NASCAR official talking to Ron Hornaday. He's still in the truck. They opted to turn it back over so that he could climb out, and we're seeing him now climbing out of that 33. That is a great sight.
Listen to the crowd. Listen to the fans.
What a great sport. The first one to get to Ron Hornaday.
Look at him laughing.
Yeah. The first person to get to Ron Hornaday was his competitor, but good friend Todd Bodine. This is the big one. Just after they cross the stripe, multiple trucks involved, and Hornaday on his roof. Almirola still scored as your race leader under red flag conditions. Welcome back to Talladega. The Mountain Dew 250 presented on speed by Dodge under a red flag condition. You see the 30 of Todd Bodine being put on the wrecker. Quite a few trucks involved. Jay White's going to start dropping back now. Through the tri-oval, they will see the white flag. 1 lap of racing to go from Talladega.
1 lap, bud. Watch your mirrors.
Austin Dillon, he was on the outside. Does he get any help? No, they're going to hang him out.
He got rooted out too. When will Kyle Busch make his move on Almirola? How does he make his move?
Or will he make his move? Almirola pushed him to the win a year ago.
They were teammates. They're not now.
Still in line. Still in line.
He'll try to jump around that 51 truck.
Down the back stretch, getting ready to come into turn number 3 for the final turn here at Talladega.
We got a long way to go to the start-finish line.
Almirola in front of Kyle Busch. Back behind him, Sauter.
Bring it to the checker. Bring it to the checker.
And the 88 of Matt Crafton. Are they going to make the move? Here comes Sauter looking to the inside. Almirola in front of Kyle Busch. Kyle Busch is going to move to the inside. It's a drag race. They're 3 wide at the stripe. It looked as though Kyle Busch may have outlasted Almirola. 2 1,000ths of a second.
Holy cow.
I think you got it, bud.
3 wide at the stripe. Kyle Busch gets it by 2 1,000ths of a minute or a second.
Kyle Busch tried to upset the truck of Almirola. Tried to get in the back of it.
Of a second. Hell yeah.
Get him wiggling around and make the move to the inside, and it worked perfectly.
That's really cool.
Johnny Sauter looks as though scored 3rd in this one. He was 29 1,000ths of a second back.
Heck of a job, bud.
What a finish. Man, these guys in these trucks never disappoint us.
The 3rd place truck was 29 1,000ths of a second behind.
It was 3 wide at the stripe. And
jumping up and down right there, because you drive it, just pulled one off.
2 1,000ths of a second separated 1 and 2.
Look at him shaking his head. He can't believe it either.
And one of the things you've always got to realize when you come to Talladega, you cannot go below the double yellow line.
I'm driving there, but I'm telling you what. Kate?
That's Rick
That's
Rick.
why he's Kyle Busch.
That was amazing.
Almirola moved up the racetrack just enough to open it up for the 18. Take a look.
He didn't move up as much as he was shoved around, Rick. He's all over the back of that truck. You know, he's just driving the front tires. He wasn't driving the back ones. Look at Johnny Sauter diving to the outside.
Look at Kyle sideways.
Unbelievable.
Took the checker out of control.
Yeah, look at this.
This is going to be a great angle.
As they come to the stripe.
Great shot, guys.
Busch goes down to the bottom. Sauter goes up to the top. And right at the stripe, it's amazing. Johnny Sauter is right at the door of the 51, and he finishes 3rd.
That's what 2,000ths of a second looks like.
I did not know that, Bill. I wondered what it looked like. That's pretty cool.
How about the winning crew chief? Is he celebrating yet, Krista?
Yeah, we're on our celebratory walk towards victory lane. Eric Phillips, you had fists pumping in the air. Were you even...
Let's take a look at this accident. Watch the outside, not the very outside slow truck, but see the orange truck. The orange and white truck of Josh Richards. He runs into the 8 of Nelson Piquet Jr. You see Cole Witt gets a piece of that. Kyle Busch got a piece of that, and Jeffrey Earnhardt in the 1 truck got a good piece of that.
A little bit of damage. Yeah, the 99 of Patrick Shelter also has some damage to the front of that truck.
Yeah, Patrick caved in the front of his truck, so that'll cause some issues with cooling that thing.
Here's another shot here. Watch the orange and white truck on the outside. He runs into the 8 of Nelson Piquet Jr., turns him down into the 20 of Johanna Long, and see the damage to the left front fender of Kyle Busch from the right rear quarter panel of that 8. Look at that job Brendan Gaughan does getting around that in his South Point truck.
There just really isn't any explanation as to why this abrupt move right here for the 51 truck. He pulled right over into Nelson Piquet Jr., and there was plenty of room to stay outside. Maybe that slower truck on the top side spooked him a little bit, and he made a jerk on the wheel, and you can't jerk the wheel in the middle of this kind of traffic.
Watch Brendan Wright in that black and yellow truck number 62. He's going to be right behind this thing. The 60 in front of him is going to get a piece of this. You see Brendan off the throttle there. There's Patrick getting in the back, and look at him getting around the 8 of Nelson Piquet Jr. And then the 99 of Patrick Shelter makes hard contact with the 8 of Nelson Piquet.
Yeah, Shelter said, I did a pretty good job not hitting the first truck, but darn, I got the second one.
Here's at speed as they're coming into 3.
It so often happens, the truck that really initiated contact got very little damage. Josh Richards, hardly any damage at all. Here we're going to
watch the 60 of Cole Witt, too. He catches a club right in the left side of the
Timothy Peters, I believe, on the inside there.
This is Kyle Busch. This is what happens when the trucks come up and into him.
Hear him right back in the gas. He knew hanging around there wasn't a good plan, so he got right back in the throttle and drove away from that mess. These two, different story. A lot of jerking around, a lot of moving around, but they're fast.
Johnny Sauter coming in second in the points, got into the wall, and now we have our next caution out. And in the 88 and the 13, both with damage. They were trying to do the 2-truck tandem in the back. It didn't work.
We're gonna catch this a little bit late.
See, Johnny's already around. He either got turned around.
You see the left rear tire is definitely damaged, and you see the quarter panel is damaged as well. It sure looks like maybe that left rear tire went away.
Well, when the
bumper or get by have been Parker Kligerman and Todd Bodine. Those two are working it now. James Busher just in front of Brendan Gaughan. So the 31 and 62 are hooking up now and seeing if they can move closer to the 2. Oh, and problems. Kligerman goes around. Bodine right behind him. So problems with the 2-truck again.
Look at Blake Feast. He's going to clobber something.
Blake Feast able to keep it off the racetrack.
Well, it was a matter of time the way those 2 trucks were bobbling around.
That was the tandem racing gone bad. I was just thinking, it sure looks like Mike Wallace and Ron Hornaday looked the best doing it.
Again, the 29 running third.
See him high?
See how high he is there?
What's he doing there?
Bodine turned him. Caught him and turned him from the
Well, we're watching
outside.
in slow motion, so it happened a lot faster than that.
Those two were running together. It looked as though Bodine went to the high side. Kligerman stayed down low. Take another look.
What's he doing? He's all the way up beside him. He just turns him.
Maybe they were going to do the switch right there, Michael, and the air just sucked Todd back into Parker Kligerman's truck. He was so far to the outside, it looked like possibly that they were going to do the switch right then and there, but then sometimes the air will bring those trucks back together, and it caught Parker Kligerman's quarter panel.
The pack right behind him. Kligerman able to stay off of the wall. This is Todd Bodine.
You heard Todd was off the throttle before he actually spun Parker.
And the 32 of Blake Feast.
Watch Blake Feast. Somebody gets him from behind.
Is that Johanna Long in the 20? It is. Johanna Long in the 20 got in the back of Blake Feast. The rear wheels came off the ground there. Fortunately, that truck came back down. I did not see the roof flap deploy on that truck.
This stuff ain't easy, y'all.
Take a look at the front 2. These 2 were running 3rd and 4th.
Very fortunate for both those trucks that they'll live to roll again. Some tires on Parker's truck. They come battle back.
And Kyle Busch moves up to second. So it's Dillon and Busch running 1 and 2 at Talladega.
Mike Wallace got pushed down on the apron.
Chris Fontaine in the 84 is going to slam into the inside wall.
He's already made contact with the outside wall. Looks like Johnny Sauter right now. Caution flag is out. Johnny Sauter will get our Aaron's lucky dog and be back in contention for a decent finish.
This is the 84 of Chris Fontaine. There he makes pretty substantial contact with the inside safer barrier. Those are safer barriers on the inside of the racetrack here because of the speeds we've been talking about. 195 miles an hour on this track.
Phil, you and I both hit that wall down there when it was concrete, and it just makes me want to hug NASCAR for installing those barriers everywhere around the circuit, because when we come to Talladega, there's no way anyone can predict all the different places we can crash at.
And they're spreading out as they come out of turn number 4.
If they get to the white flag here to the start-finish line before the caution comes out, the next flag will finish this.
We hope we don't see another caution across the stripe. 1 lap to go. Mike Wallace just in front of Ron Hornaday. Now the big question, will there be KHI orders for Hornaday to win this race?
That can't happen, Phil, because here comes Buescher and Carmichael. They do anything other than what they're doing, they're going to lose that first and second spot. They got to hang right like that until the very last second. There's a chance at the start-finish line. Maybe Hornaday pulls out, but here comes Buescher.
Here comes the run by Buescher and Ricky Carmichael. Going into turn number 3, Wallace and Hornaday 1 and 2.
How about Jason White, Top of the racetrack, hooked up.
Coming out of turn number 4, this is where all the action will take place. Here comes the run. James Buescher trying to go to the outside. Mike Wallace being pushed by Ron Hornaday through the tri-oval. 400 yards to go. It's going to be Mike Wallace who's going to win this one at Talladega.
And that is a Kevin Harvick Incorporated win right there.
Oh, God. I am so excited.
Hey,
great job, Mike Wallace. Great job, Ron Hornaday.
81 just got into the wall moments ago, and that brings out our first caution here at Talladega, so the field will slow down.
Look at Starr's truck. It looks like there's a right front tire problem with it. I don't know if that's a result of contact or if it went down first. We'll be able to tell here. Looks like he blows a right front tire. Does a nice job of not panicking, just able to barely brush that outside safer barrier.
Yeah, this is the same tire that the Cup cars are running here and have ran here for the last couple of years, so certainly haven't seen any issues with the tires at all. Undoubtedly, David.
Welcome back. Third caution has come out in the Fred's 250, powered by Coca-Cola, presented on speed by Royal Purple. This time it was, well, one of our favorites for super speedway racing. Todd Bodine caught up in it. Ross Chastain in the 08 got a lot of damage from it.
He was getting a push from John West Townley. We heard
on left of your screen there.
And you see John West Townley's on the inside.
He just wasn't square behind him. He got to pushing him, and around he goes. It knocks the 08 of Ross Chastain into the 07 of Johnny Chapman. In turn, it knocks Johnny into the 11 of Todd Bodine.
It's down if the field catches him, which it's about to do. They're going to put him 4 laps down.
And they're going to be 4 wide, too, Rick. This is a really tough part of the race. You don't want to be 4 wide in the tri-oval. That's what will happen.
Goes Donnie Neuenberger. Looks like Donnie Neuenberger. He slides into the 30 of Nelson Piquet Jr., hits him hard. A few trucks make their way down pit road.
That's exactly what happened. It wasn't anything that Eric Almirola did wrong, but it just creates a situation where people start moving out of their lines, and this is the result.
So hard hit. Take another look. The 1 of Donnie Neuenberger comes down, slams into the 9, back up into the wall. And now
that started when Neuenberger just got up too high on the racetrack, had to pull his truck away from that outside line of trucks, and he got sideways. Just a mistake there in heavy traffic, and that's what we talked about. When they caught the lap truck, things get really close and tight.
They just bunch up. Look at the damage to Chris Fontaine's Toyota.
Chris Fontaine normally has such good finish.
Inside the top 10. Krista?
Hermie, right now, Miguel Paludo in the number 32 is pushing Ryan Blaney on the outside, that outside lane. Trouble on the track.
Around goes the 9 of Hornaday. Again, had issues with the right side of that truck earlier when Donnie Neuenberger got into the right.
See if we can see what happens.
He's on the inside.
Oh, things just hurt with him.
Looked like maybe he might have cut a tire down then, a rear tire, and it turned him down towards the inside of the racetrack. He did a nice job of keeping that truck halfway straight.
Looked like the left rear was low when he slid sideways.
That's a great job of driving there by Hornaday.
He just never quits on it. He keeps steering, he keeps driving, he locks the brakes up, lets off the brakes, trying to get the thing to go straight.
Watch how quick this happens. He's minding his own business, running through the trouble, and wham!
That was a shock to him as well as it was to us. I think you're right, Rick. That left rear tire was low right there.
Saw it down low there as he finally caught the number 9. But and there's no reason right now for Parker Kligerman to look to the inside of that W line because he can't pass him.
As much as he's flirting with moving up a lane, you never know when. Oh, we got a spinner.
Ron Hornaday through the infield once again in the 9. That brings another caution out. Caution 6 here at Talladega.
And we will have a caution inside of the last 10 laps because we will not restart this race till inside of 10 laps. Every single time we've been here. See what happens to Ron here.
Running by
the right rear tire is flat.
Right rear tire has come off. He slides through the grass back onto the apron.
I'm telling you, a 51-time winner shouldn't have to go through what Ron's going through today.
Window tear off, trying to come off as well. He's got everything coming off of his truck right now.
And the 31 of James Forster gets shoved out of the way. Here comes the 3 of Ty Dillon.
Ty's able to get back down to the white line. How about Ryan Blaney now battling for 3rd?
Here comes Ty Dillon, a little wiggle out of the 29. The next flag that flies is the one that will determine the winner of this race.
Can't believe they made it through turn 2.
Unbelievable. Unbelievable. That 4 trucks, now they're wrecking.
And now they're going to wreck behind them. Trucks sliding all over. Will the caution come out, though?
No caution yet.
No caution. There's still... And the caution comes out. Now the caution comes out. In front of the field is Parker Kligerman. Parker Kligerman is going to win his first ever Camping World Truck Series race, and it's going to come at Talladega Superspeedway.
Being in the right place when it got down towards the end of the race, Parker Kligerman was, with a lot of help from that 13 truck.
We didn't have any idea that with 10 to go, the right place was going to be 21st position. That's the only thing we didn't have figured out, but we knew you could win from anywhere.
This is the best damn team in sports right now. Tom DeLoach, thank you, Camp Horse around.
How about right there?
Thank you,
are your top
daughter.
4 in points. Lane.
Look at Jason White. He does a great job of pushing his way through. Nothing he could have done differently there, but behind him, that's when things start breaking out.
We're going to see if we can tell exactly what the first truck to get out of line here. You see Miguel Paludo and Jason White make contact, and then it forces Jason over into Lofton. He makes pretty hard contact against the inside wall, cracked him with a lot of damage. There's Rick Crawford sliding across the racetrack, making contact with the 81 of David Starr. There's that Clay Greenfield in the 68.
And the 68 caught up in it.
You can see, watch Jason White, he's getting a push from Kurt Busch. They get to the back of Ryan Blaney. Jason holds his own there, and it looks like as Paludo tries to come around the outside of White, maybe tries to squeeze down in line and ran Jason down into Justin Lofton, and Justin has another hard impact 2 weeks in a row into the inside wall.
Once again, we take a look at what happened behind our race winner.
It started with the orange truck on the high side. Does he just try to get back over in line?
Watch him. He's going to creep down towards that next broken white line set and ran into the 23 of Jason White.
Nothing Jason White could have done there. It was a situation where it looked like, for some reason, Paludo thought it was clear to the inside and went down there, and it wasn't.
Crawford and Starr, 2 veterans of the series, involved in this, and we saw Clay Greenfield.
Excuse me, Matt Crafton gets to the bottom. Look how tight things are.
And it's too tight and into the wall. Timothy Peters in the 17. 30 other trucks involved. The 77 of Ramon Quiroga.
Caleb Holman in the 75 truck. 07 of Chris Cochran.
Why would you gamble on potentially running out of fuel? Look at what happened.
See the Ford truck in the middle of that racetrack and the 75 came together. It looked like the 75 was coming down just a little bit, made contact with the 4 of Jeb Burton.
It looked like Jeb was trying to get into a hole in the 75 of Caleb Holman, said there's not a hole here, and that caused a crash. You can see how tight things are right there. Look, Jeb's right against John West Townley. 75 of Caleb Holman comes down onto Jeb.
Catches Timothy Peters, takes him and the 77 of Ramon Quiroga into the outside wall. Brendan Newberry with nowhere to go. How about Chris Fontaine, the 83? Looks like he got through there.
He just bided his time, let that thing develop, and was able to drive through it. Another guy on the inside was Ron Hornaday. Watch Hornaday. He slips through on the inside barely.
Trucks hard into the wall in turn 3.
About
there it is.
17th, 20th position, and around they go. 31 of James Buescher caught up in it. Second in points.
Oh, Agnew into the wall on the inside, and Buescher hard again into the wall.
A lot of damage. The 18 of Joey Coulter also involved. A big hit for James Buescher. Hornaday with the big run that I saw early, and then Ryan Sieg also coming up with a big run.
But you can see the run ends, and people start to, Hornaday's trying to crowd down in front of Buescher, and then Hornaday leaves it in there, and it's going to turn the 6 of Justin Lofton, and that means into James Buescher.
Just didn't give him enough room there. Looked like Ron Hornaday just did not give Justin Lofton enough room. And here's Jeff Agnew. He's going to make hard contact with the 27. Here's another look at it. You see the 31 is there. He's up to his door. There's just absolutely not enough room there for those trucks.
It's a shame for James Buescher. He didn't do anything wrong. He's just racing around the bottom of the racetrack, and it looked like Ron had the opportunity to avoid that wreck if he could have just let the 6 of Lofton in, but probably felt like Lofton knew he was there and left his foot on it, and Lofton didn't know he was there and caused a crash.
Yeah, situation there, a little, maybe back off the throttle a little bit right there, give him a little bit more room, and this might not have happened.
Right along with the 31 of Buescher.
There's Hornaday. Ty Dillon's going by. Hornaday tried to get in front of Buescher. Wasn't enough room. James is right there. They're dead side by side. Justin Lofton just driving, looked like straight down the backstretch. And the contact was made.
I know it's difficult, and these things are happening at 190 miles an hour.
Tandem in the middle of the track. Johnny Sauter, he won at Daytona earlier this year. Can he do it again? They wreck behind him. They're rolling behind him. Now the 88 spins. Thor Sport is going to win. It's going to be Johnny Sauter that will get the win, but they wreck behind him.
Matt Crafton has not got to the start-finish line yet.
And they're still wrecking. Crafton does slide by the start-finish line. The 32 of Miguel Paludo was upside down. It's on fire now. Trav, let's take another look.
That's Jeb in the black truck.
Being pushed by Miguel Paludo. He got pushed sideways into Kyle Busch.
That sends Busch sideways. Dakota Armstrong in the 60 was able to stay clear up high.
Watch Paludo flip over when Kyle gets on the right rear of his truck.
See David Starr go by. Chris Fontaine going by. Justin Lofton, the 6 truck. There's Clay Greenfield in the 68. John West Townley in the 7 going by on the inside.
I think there might be one more impact for...
Yeah, Kyle Busch did get hit one more time.
Kyle Busch, I'm thinking maybe it was the...
We watched, though, the 32 still upside down. He'll end up rolling just at the end as he gets hit one more time here.
Yeah. The sliding down the racetrack isn't that bad. It's the landing on the racetrack that hurts you in a flip.
There was another couple of trucks hit.
There's another
at the
vantage
start-finish
point.
line.
Coming out of turn 4.
Here's the 3 tandems. All 3 wide. And there's Jeb Burton coming with a big push by Miguel Paludo and pushed him sideways.
What happened to... Was that clear? Did it just veer to the right? Did he have something go wrong with his truck?
Riding along with Crafton. He gets tagged. Around he goes.
Max Gresham there, he slides across the start finish.
Today for the Camping World Truck Series at Talladega, at least 4 or 5 trucks involved. They were battling for a position on the backside of the top 10.
Yeah, and what happens so frequently at these kind of places is we get accidents in the straightaways. You would think it would be easy to drive these trucks down the straightaway. Not the case. There's Ron Hornaday, 2-time winner here. There's Herman Quiroga, top 10 in points. He's going to take a big hit. Mason.
He said, Phil, it all occurs on the straightaway. Ooh, it looked like Quiroga tried to get into a hole that Eric Jones wasn't sure was there.
Hard hit for Mason Mingus in that 15 truck.
Crazy thing is, we're talking lap 10 and 11. You just have to make sure that you understand where gaps are and that they're going to be there this early in the race.
Ryan Sieg swerved to the outside trying to get by, nowhere to go when Mingus came up in front of him.
Yeah, and hard contact with the 30. Let's take another look at it here. See the blue truck left side of your screen. You see him get sideways, get in the 15 of Mason Mingus, then go to the outside. Nowhere to go for Ron Hornaday or Ryan Sieg.
And that's about as...
Running ninth is Daniel Suarez right there. Tomorrow he's going to be down in Mexico competing in the NASCAR Toyota Series.
Trouble.
But a big wreck on the front stretch.
Ben Kennedy slides out of line and slams the outside wall.
Still got him coming here. Just hold on. You're okay. Brakes, 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 brakes. You okay, Ben?
We heard Ben say, yeah, I'm good.
That is great to hear, because he took a shot out of the draft, nose first into the wall. Tyler Reddick also in the top 5 as we look back at what happened.
Whoa, Nemechek got loose there for some reason.
Maybe he got a push from the 84. Chris Fontaine was right behind him. Maybe Chris got into the back of Nemechek, and that turned him sideways into Ben Kennedy. It didn't look like it was a situation where Nemechek was trying to get in line. Looks like he just got loose. Look again. You see how he weaved down to the inside there? With Chris Fontaine, that yellow and blue truck right behind him.
Yeah, and your truck isn't going to get loose just running through the tri-oval here. These things have a lot of downforce on them. It's stuck good there. So the way that looked, it's something made Nemechek's truck turn to the inside, and unfortunately for Ben Kennedy, there he was.
Boy, it sure has a look like maybe Chris Fontaine got into the back of that 8 truck of Nemechek, and unfortunately Ben Kennedy sure paid the price.
Paid it twice.
Yeah, that second hit was hard too.
On board with Matt Crafton.
How many times has Matt Crafton seen this kind of stuff, Phil?
Yes.
He throws to the back of the pack and has to tiptoe through all kinds of different action.
The radio.
Behind the 8 of Nemechek.
It's 3 p.m. in the East, and we've got 10 laps to go for the Camping World Truck Series at Talladega on Fox.
Oh, contact.
And we've got trouble. Brian Silas out of line. Collects Brennan Newberry. Silas in the grass. And now the caution. 5th one of the day.
You don't see that very often. Neither one of those trucks hit the inside wall. They got together. Newberry did a great job of just remaining calm and cool as Crafton went wrong.
Looked like a bump draft to the back of Brian Silas. It looked like it was by Brennan Newberry in the 20 truck. Brian does a nice job keeping that truck out of the inside wall. I'm not sure Newberry was quite as fortunate. He didn't hit the inside wall, but he does have some damage to that truck. There it is right there. Silas made some pretty significant contact with Clay Greenfield on his outside. Clay did a nice job maintaining control of his truck.
The view of our championship leader, Matt Crafton.
Wow.
Matt says, thank you for going to the inside after you got together.
And I said I was nervous before that last restart.
And very quiet on the radio, but his spotter, Lauren Rainier, talking a mile a minute. They fell out of line, got shuffled back, but he is trying to get his driver, John West Townley, back to the front of the field, Hermie.
Look right side of your screen. I think he may have cut down that right rear tire, and that may be what turned him around. Does a nice job continuing to work with that thing and get it going straight again.
How many times have we seen a driver have trouble today on track?
Either a Chevrolet pushing him, a Ford running second, and a Toyota pushing him.
Timothy Peters led that lap by 2/100ths of a second.
What can Jones do? Can he get the move? Can he get a hold of the back of the 29 truck of Blaney and push him ahead? Or what's Jeff Burton going to do to the outside?
He's got some help from Tyler Young in the 02 truck.
Look at Taylor Molson in the shove. He's giving Timothy Peters down low, who is now pulled away a bit. That middle lane drifting back. Here comes Jeff Burton outside.
4 wide.
That's Spencer Gallagher leading that wide group.
Matt Crafton, our championship leader, has worked his way back into the top 5. And a move being made in that outside lane. Peters pulls high to block. Now look down low. Fontaine is there. Timothy Peters stretching away. Can he hold him off?
Go back in your mirror.
Yes, he can. Timothy Peters gets the checkers here at Talladega.
Run over. Great job.
Woo! What an amazing finish here at Talladega.
Behind another truck because of the fact that there's such a big hole that gets poked in the air.
Got trouble here. One of them off track through the grass. That's John Hunter Nemechek. Can he save it and keep it off the wall?
Keep it locked. Keep it locked.
Unbelievable job to keep that thing off the fence. First caution of the day. Comes out with 12 laps complete.
Yeah, and that's just an extremely lucky situation there but just coming through the tri-oval here and
that shows you how hard the tri-oval is. I mean, he was all by himself. He tried to cut to the bottom, and the truck got away from him.
Yeah, the cars and trucks get so light through that tri-oval as you just have to turn the wheel just a little bit, and the back end just gets light. He just got into a spot in the middle right there where there was just no air on the truck, and he just spun out.
And he never gave up, though. He was in the grass sideways, and he just worked hard to keep that thing off the inside wall. Now he's going to have to be smart about how he gets back to pit road. Those tires blow out. It could tear up his whole truck.
Won at Chicago a few weeks ago. The son of Joe Nemechek. Turned 18 in June. Problems early for John Hunter Nemechek here at Talladega. We're under caution. Under caution for the second time today. 44-year-old Canadian Terry Jones had an issue entering the tri-oval. His day is done. He'll take the mandatory ride to the infield care center. And this caution, a big break for a couple of drivers. One, Daniel Hemrick, who had to come, but he's led the most laps today, which right now would put him in line for a couple of bonus points, and here's the reason we're under caution.
Just in the pack, and he tried to drive to the bottom. It's a whole lot like what we saw John Hunter. Looks like try to turn the truck down, and they just get loose when you do that, especially on the flat of the front straightaway or into the tri-oval, and then hard impact into the safer barrier. That safer barrier that he hit has now been expanded by some 8,000 feet around this racetrack, all down the back straightaway, Kevin. There's safer barrier there. Really think the not able to make any progress with Townley pushing.
And look who's coming in the third lane leading the charge. On board with Matt Crafton. 91 into the wall. That's Stanton Barrett. Caution again.
Yeah, Matt Crafton was involved in that crash, guys. Our point contender Crafton was a part of that.
Crafton was going to
cut. See what happened. Oh, Barrett just tried to change lanes, and it was Crafton who was a victim of that bad decision.
Inside, Matt Barrett just wrecked us. Clear down, clear down.
Just so you know, that wasn't the spotter's fault. Sometimes when you're in these trucks, you
keep an eye on Timothy Peters, third in line. He's the guy with all the experience. Won this race 1 year ago. 3 laps remain at Talladega.
It'll be a miracle if they make it 3 laps. They're very aggressive right now. Timothy Peters is watching that 33 truck just bounce all over the place.
54, posted, pass-through penalty, pushing it. Here's the big one, down the back straightaway at Talladega.
Matt Crafton in it.
And he just knew it had to happen at some point. It was just too tight. There was too much pushing and shoving, and finally it all just broke loose.
So NASCAR felt Christopher Bell too aggressive in pushing at the front of the field when he was tucked in right behind Brandon Jones.
You know what the shame of that is, though? They went by Brian Keselowski by pushing like that. Brian lost his chance to win the race. NASCAR didn't think that was too much pushing. Johnny Sauter truck, I think, was in the middle, and someone didn't know he was there.
Yeah, it was a 51 truck, Mike. It looked like he was on the top 3 wide there and started to come down over the cross of over the front of Johnny Sauter's nose, and that's really what triggered the whole accident.
Yeah, that 51 of Matt Tift got turned around riding backwards. Saw damage for Tyler Tanner in the 63. Another look here.
See, there was Sauter right on the tailgate of the 51, and then look, Crafton just almost squeaked by the outside, but couldn't quite make it.
94 of Timmy Hill in that mix. We go on board with Tyler Reddick. What did he see?
This should give us a great view. You can see Sauter very aggressively up the middle.
Line up out there. You go,
there
buddy.
just wasn't room.
Get low. Keep coming there. Keep coming low. Watch that 98. Caution's going to be out. You're clear up. Great job.
On board with Matt Crafton.
Pushing, I believe. Nice and easy. Reckon. Stay straight.
He just missed getting through there.
I like what Crafton did. He just left the hammer down. He knew if he was going to make it through, that was his only chance.
Yeah, the hole just closed up a little quicker than...
Front row, Brandon Jones, Timothy Peters. Here we go for a little overtime at Talladega.
That was a great jump by Jones. But was too good. When you get out in front like that, you don't have anybody to draft with. Peters has got a pusher. Here he comes.
Spencer Gallagher giving a huge push to Timothy Peters in that outside lane. Here comes the pole setter, last year's winner, Peters, out front at Talladega.
Yeah, that outside lane just got formed so much better, so much quicker than the inside, and now Peters goes on defense.
Problems, Gallagher out of shape, into John West Townley. Peters stays out front, no caution yet.
Those trucks are well out of harm's way. NASCAR has decided to let these boys
Caution is out, and that will do it. Timothy Peters going to go back-to-back at Talladega.
This will be the only attempt.
It's 4, but we may have to run another lap. This should be the white.
That's good spotting right there. Don't pull the pit road too soon there, Timothy.
And he also said what you talked about, Kevin. As soon as they wrecked, he said, stay in it. You don't want to give one away thinking the caution is out.
Well, you just knew that those guys had to go because you just had to think that was going to happen with all the pushing and shoving and everything happening on the restarts like it did. You had to think that the caution was going to come out. So as long as he can make it back around, he's going to win the race.
And Spencer Gallagher went for it. He's in the back of him, and when he tries to make that turn right there, the truck just wouldn't hold it.
Well, a tough break for John West Townley, who had such an up and down day and was in position for another top 5 on board with the race leader.
23.
I think right there, Gallagher saw Peters crowding up. He decided he was going to block him.
Riding with John West Townley.
Working push, bump, that push, just bump. Get off the bump, got a bump, let off. There you go, keep coming. All right, I see what you got.
I don't think that was anything John West did wrong.
No, I think when Peters went up to throw the block right there, it just kind of made Spencer have to decide, okay, am I going to push him or am I going to try to pass him and win this race? And he was going for the pass to try to win, and that's what we like to see.
Our results right now on our scoring monitor, very unofficial. Timothy Peters gets the win. Brandon Jones, Mason Mingus getting or matching their best career finish.
Is that Mingus slipping through on the outside? He might have been into the back of John West Townley. We talked about it. You throw the green, you put it on the floorboard and hang on.
Kevin, I think it's time for you to go try and qualify. Hey, guys, your car. Thank you.
Bumper to bumper. Oh, big wiggle for John West Townley going around. Contact.
What an amazing save. Daniel Hemrick's into the outside wall.
Hemrick in the 19. Another one of our chasers.
I cannot believe the save that Cole Custer made in that 00 truck.
We talked about the big push William Byron was getting from Ben Rhodes, and I think that pushed Byron up into the back of Townley. Nothing John West could have done there. He just got hit at the wrong time.
Boy, the evasive moves by several drivers saved that from being the big one.
Yeah, we had 2-3 trucks involved in it. It could have been 23.
I think the 41 of Rhodes on the outside, the third one back, is maybe gave the 9 a little bit of a bump, just as you guys said, and then the 9 got into the 05.
See, that's the problem. The 41 can see the 9. He can't see what's out in front of the 9, and if his spotter's not telling him, hey, the 9's all over the 05, then he pushes him into it.
Yeah, that's just not being able to see what's ahead. Byron gets a push, hits Townley in the wrong place. John West into the 00 of Custer. Custer keeps it going straight somehow. You watch back in the pack, it looked like the 29 of Tyler Reddick got into the back of Daniel Hemrick as they were trying to slow. I mean, they're in the middle of a crash.
Yeah, no fault to Tyler Reddick
at all. Just
of course, those are teammates.
Coincidentally, the teammates were together. You can see them down on the lower part of the groove.
Yeah, I think you're right. Maybe as
yeah, Reddick had to turn left to avoid the 05 of John West Townley.
And maybe got on the brakes a little bit there too. In line, a 6-time winner this season.
Oh, got a spinner. We talked about Lupton.
It's the 02 of Lupton and a hard hit for that 71. Brandon Hightower, the 18-year-old, hard into the wall. That was a huge hit for Lupton. Good to see. You can see him moving around. and quickly out of the truck.
He just got up a little bit too close to the 23 of Gallagher. Then I think he felt like he needed to turn the wheel and get away from Spencer. And Brandon came along and just to try to avoid it, turned right and got into the outside safer barrier.
And somehow Lupton didn't hit a thing.
First career start for Lupton here in the Truck Series. Boy, you're right, Michael. How does he avoid any contact at all? Not another truck, not the wall.
That's
Meanwhile, Brandon Hightower, he took it all.
That's what Talladega's all about, Vince. Dylan Lupton makes a mistake.
See how high he was away from the double yellow line.
He gets away with his mistake, and it just swept a couple other trucks into it.
Well, look at Matt Crafton barely get through there with that bright yellow truck.
I'm not sure Hightower had much choice other than just try to crank it to the right. Maybe he got too aggressive with it, obviously. That's why he crashed. But, man, he was in a tough spot with Lupton coming back across the track.
Matt Tift in the 11, Grant Enfinger in the 24. Neither one of them in the chase, but just as hungry for their first win.
Oh, there it goes.
Ben Rhodes collects a bunch of them.
Oh, man.
The big one at Talladega.
It's Hemrick also involved in the bottom in the 19 truck. There's Daniel on the apron of the racetrack.
A big sweeping crash down in turn 1.
We're going to get you back around here.
And it is the big one. The 9 of William Byron driving through the grass. Hemrick, there's the 78 of Fontaine. That's the second truck up there on the outside. That's where it all started.
Looked like he might have got a shove from the 17 of Timothy Peters.
Well, I talked about how he's able to push so well. That means he's always up against the truck in front of him, and there isn't any room for Timothy to push him ahead because he's already bottomed out against the truck in front of him, caused him to go sideways. Look at all that sheet metal flying through the air and those trucks grinding to a stop.
I'd mentioned Matt Tift was involved. He is not. Matt right now is in the second position. He got through that unscathed.
The 5 of Corbin Forrester, the 05 of John West Townley. There is the the 07 of Cody Ware. You mentioned the 00 of Cole Custer, the 86 of Brandon Brown. Of course, Rhodes, heavy contact. Watch on the outside, second truck on the outside lane.
Yeah, hard contact. 41 bounces off the wall into the 86 of Brandon Brown.
What about Brandon up in the 6th spot in that truck? And
great job by Rico Abreu, and Tommy Joe Martin's the 44 truck getting by Rico in the 98.
Well, Rico's dodged a bullet a couple of those accidents, hasn't he?
He's seen it all today, Vince.
Rico Abreu making his first start here at Talladega.
Ooh, it looked like maybe Ben was going to the inside. At the same time, Timothy gave him a push, and it just went wrong. Look at Rico. Wow, how does he squeeze through there? Up to the high side on the side of Tommy Joe Martin.
And he had to give Tommy Joe some room, too, and he did.
Good job by both Martins and Abreu to get through that. Brandon Brown didn't have a chance.
Sure did. Just victim of circumstances there for sure. Most of these guys had nowhere to go, Vince. They just came along, and it happened so fast. The 41 bounces off that outside wall into Brandon Brown and just clogs up the racetrack.
So just past the halfway mark, and major damage. Multiple trucks. The chasers. It's been an eventful day for those 8 trying to advance to round 2. Remember, only 6 advanced to the second round of the playoffs, and already John Hunter Nemechek, we know he's eliminated with the engine problems early in the race.
Look at Abreu and Tommy Joe Martin squeezed through there, and then late it looked like Austin Cindric was trying to thread the needle and didn't quite make it through there.
That's where the damage out for William Byron came from.
Watch it from the 19 of Hemrick.
Go up high, go low, back it down, they're gonna go high.
We're hearing that maybe the 07
They're outside.
Oh, Cody Ware got him from behind.
Heard that hit late.
I looked up, might have been William Byron. That
keep it rolling, track is clear, keep it rolling.
From Timothy Peters.
See, look at that.
Quarter out the back.
Just before Timothy went to give him a push, Ben Rhodes changed lanes. It looked like he tried to dive into the corner a little bit early.
Inside rollout, inside man, that was
I agree with you. He looked like he jogged to the left just prior to that contact from Timothy.
And watch him clip the 86 of Brandon Brown. Wow, that's a huge impact. Just tore the whole front end off that truck.
So many just had nowhere to go, including the 5 of Forrester, the 05 of John Westtownley. They just had nowhere to go. 000 of Cole Custer.
Looks like they're welded together right here. They're going to come off the racetrack all together.
And look at the 98 going by just on the bottom with the 44. Those two trucks somehow skate by on the low side, and then they have to drive abruptly to the top in order to miss another spinning truck. Great job by those two drivers.
Yeah, I think they were actually making contact side by side there. 98 of Abreu and the 44 of Tommy Joe Martins.
I mean, Joe said, Rico, I need a little bit of room here. Move up, bud.
And they worked that out. Tommy Joe's got a new sponsor, BootDaddy.com. I'm sure he's going to get Rico a pair of boots out of that.
Look at the number of drivers involved in that accident.
Both lines somehow.
The final lap at Talladega. Grant Enfinger trying to hold on for his first career win. Here comes Spencer Gallagher challenging, and Ben Kennedy on the outside taking a look.
Will they make it back?
He has too big a lead. He has too big a lead.
Oh, there goes.
They're
Cameron
bumping
Haley.
in the back. Haley is into the wall.
No caution yet.
Enfinger trying to hold on. Now Gallagher making a charge from the inside.
Ben Kennedy pushing hard on the back of the 24 truck of Grant Enfinger.
Through turn 4, coming to the tri-oval. Who's going to win? Is Enfinger going to be able to hold off his teammate Spencer Gallagher? His first career win. Grant Enfinger does it at Talladega.
How about that? Hometown boy does good, huh?
Isn't that great? Great for Grant Enfinger.
That is awesome.
Yeah, these guys have to back off now. Remember, the 13 of Cameron Haley is wrecked over there in the backstretch. You see him moving around in the truck, but
2019, guys.
Oh, and an issue. Caution is out. There's the 33 of Grala, one of our championship contenders, and he's got a big hit in the front. So already 2 of our championship contenders with major issues today. Phil.
Oh, Cody Coughlin got high.
That's the 47 of Chris Fontaine.
Fontaine saves his truck, heads to pit road. I don't know who Kaz got into. Maybe hit from behind as he checked up. It looks like he shoved into the outside wall.
Yeah, I couldn't tell if he just got up the racetrack right there and then tried to come back down, and Fontaine was there.
Yeah, it looked like maybe the 16 of Ryan Truex hit Kaz in the back, knocked him into the wall. For some reason, it looked like the 27 of Ben Rhodes lost his momentum there. Probably let off when he saw the contact between the 2 trucks ahead, and just Kaz was in the wrong place at the wrong time. There was nothing he could do there, just got hit from behind.
Heartbreaker for the 33 of Grala. Right on board with him here.
It's possible. Let's see what happens. Bound. And we're wrecked.
Chain reaction.
Chain reaction, yeah. Once they check up right there, everybody's coming up off the corner, and it just gets worse as you go to blow out.
Here's how it happened.
Oh, Ben Rhodes clips. Was that Rhodes in the 27? I couldn't tell for sure, but he clipped Clay Greenfield in that beautiful red, white, and blue truck, and around Greenfield win, and that collected Nemechek.
Boy, Nemechek didn't have anywhere to go. You see him behind the 88.
That was indeed Rhodes that tried to go in a hole that Greenfield closed, and it collected those other trucks.
Yeah, and he just had such a huge rate of speed as he was coming up on him there. It just caught him right there going into the corner. And we talked about it earlier, being off-centered. He caught him in the left rear and just immediately turned him.
Well, and remember when we talked to him after that second stage, and he said, I just want to run a smart race. I just want to keep it clean. And we talked about the fact that you can run smart, but sometimes you're just a victim of somebody else's situation, and that's exactly what happened with John Hunter Nemechek.
Yeah, and that's just the case here at Talladega and Daytona. You can run all day and have everything go your way, and it just takes one mistake by somebody else, wrong spot, wrong time, and this happens.
Matt Crafton had a ringside seat for that tussle.
They're wrecking behind you. They're wrecking behind you.
Very fortunate for the 45 truck of Self there. You see him get clipped on that corner, but he was able to keep it going straight.
Yeah, a few more inches and he would have been turned right into the wall.
So Nemechek, Crafton, Greenfield, and Regan Smith all involved. The final stage at Talladega. 13 had led just 3 laps before today. Spent a good amount of time out front, but now it's Grant Enfinger, last year's winner, in contact, and Coughlin goes around. Big hit for Coughlin and Fontaine and others involved. And there's John Hunter Nemechek. Looks like he has escaped.
But now here comes Gregson, 3 wide up the middle, and this has to be where problems started. Yeah.
Wyatt Snyder looked like he got into the back end of the 13 and spun him.
Well, what happens is that bottom lane here through the tri-oval is much flatter than the rest of the lanes going up. And when you're in the middle, you're already in a bad spot because the back end of your truck starts to want to wiggle around. But what you saw there was Wyatt Snyder was in the middle. And it looked like he came up the racetrack there, and as he went, he got loose right there, and then he just touched the back of the 13 in the right rear, and the 47 came down, and it all broke loose there.
You can see briefly up in the air was the 13 truck, and he settled right back down. The aerodynamic flaps you see on that bed, Vince, those flaps opening up, that's helping to evacuate the air from under the truck and set it back down.
Like they served their purpose.
I can see why Fontaine was slow. Wow, that was a heavy hit for him. I just think Snyder tried to get into a hole, got a little bit loose, and clipped Cody Coughlin.
Yeah, when you're in the middle like that, you know how it is, Michael. It's just you have to be so much more careful with the steering wheel and the input that you put into the right or left, because everything just becomes much easier to spin out or get loose, and the truck just is not as stable as it is in the outside or inside lanes, when the middle is a tough place to be through that tri-oval.
Almost like if you've ever had to walk on the ice, it's kind of tough to get your balance and feel secure.
Well, you see him, he kind of, I don't know if he thought the 13 was going to come back up the racetrack right there, but he kind of jerked the truck to the right. The 51 truck of Mike Snyder kind of jerked the truck to the right, and then when he went back to the left, when you put that input into the wheel to the right and then pull it right back to the left, it instantly makes the truck loose.
And watch at the back of the screen, the pink truck that's torn up. That's John Hunter Nemechek. Heavy contact by Wendell Chavis there into the Rhodes truck. Watch where Nemechek goes. He's racing to make the next round of the playoffs, and he used every bit of the available real estate there down into turn 1 to clear that mess.
Well, don't hit me, don't hit me, don't hit me.
And that move right there is probably going to make the playoffs for him. I mean, that was just one of those moves that you don't know where the trucks are going to go, and you go with your instinct and shooting for the gap there. But those are big hits.
That's the 13 of Coughlin, and then the 47 of Fontaine. Now on board with Myatt Snyder.
He sees.
Working here. Outside, outside. Outside, outside.
Yeah, he was just in trouble. When he started going up the racetrack, and you could see that steering wheel, and it started going back to the right, back to the left, back to the right. He was in trouble right from the beginning.
And you can see the Coughlin.
He's been right on the verge of disaster a couple times with those pushes. Obviously, he's got away with it up until this point, and that's what's got him there. But it's definitely been pretty dicey.
I can't imagine. I mean, imagine driving down the interstate. Caution is out with 5 to go.
Oh, I didn't need that.
Austin Wayne Self has spun and then
doing it very aggressively.
There's the spin. It's an art, and some of these guys aren't artists. I mean, you can tell by the way they push. They just don't have the experience.
Back and can make ground with a good truck.
Christopher Bell on the inside, Parker Kligerman on the outside. The green flag's waving. We're in overtime at Talladega.
Bell picked the high line. I like the bottom, and it looks like the bottom's going to work early, but can Bell rebound up top?
Well, the thing I don't like is that gap from Grant Enfinger in the 98 truck, the second truck on the top, to the truck behind him, and all those trucks on the bottom were formed up. So we'll just have to see if that top line can ever make up ground.
It's Chase Briscoe on the outside there, getting a little help, but the battle is at the front, and it's Parker Kligerman with some help from Grant Enfinger.
Yeah, that truck pulling out in the middle allowed that top lane to stay formed up and broke the momentum of the bottom lane. And, you know, the top lane was able to get right out in front of those guys when they started getting scattered.
Sauter jumps to the outside, hoping that he gets some help. They're coming through the tri-oval to the white flag. Kligerman by a nose over Enfinger as they cross the line in the final lap, and contact and a big crash.
And John Hunter Nemechek sneaks through.
Big wreck.
And the 8 of John Hunter Nemechek escapes, and it's going to be Parker Kligerman. For the second time, a winner at Talladega.
Come into this mix, but when it all gets shaken up is when the 24 truck, the second truck in line on the bottom, pulls up into the middle right here. It's going to break, the bottom line is going to take off, but it's going to break all the bottom line's momentum when he pulls out right here.
And then look at the push right to the front. The 24 gets out of position in the 75.
And then Johnny Sauter couldn't make up his mind that he needed to go with the 24. I don't think he liked what he saw there. He thought his best chance was to hang low and did just that. That ended the chances for the 24 to win. But look at the door it opened for Sauter. He makes a great run there, but no one followed him.
Yeah, and I think the 24 was really expecting Johnny Sauter to go with him there as he broke out, and that just didn't happen.
9 of the last 10 races here at Talladega. The final lead change has happened in the last couple of laps. Happens again today as you see the carnage before they could get to the finish on the white flag lap. Just 75 miles away, Winston, Georgia. And our first caution of the day for the 12 of Tanner Thorson.
There's the break Brett Moffitt needed to get right back into the championship battle. He was the first truck a lap down.
So, and that's really where you saw the experience of that crew chief.
Tear the quarter off of it.
So we can see the issue there for Thorson.
Like he might have blown a tire. It's hard to say. He was
good job keeping it off the wall. Former star from the USAC ranks has run 6 races this season before today's event here at Talladega.
Yeah, it's hard to tell right there, but you know that has all the signs of a left rear tire going down. You see some damage on the left side of the truck, so it might have had a little cut in it or something and just turned it.
Duck out of that line all by myself. This could be big trouble.
Oh, and there goes Fontaine. Contact and around. Crafton involved, Rhodes involved, Parker Kligerman, John Hunter Nemechek, Bo Lamastus, Johnny Sauter back there. Was it? Disaster.
Where it starts, he's up high and goes to the bottom, and Haley was there. Oh.
Watch this 75 truck, Michael. I mean, he's in the wreck right here, and he comes down the racetrack and
no brakes, obviously.
Hit again.
Oh.
And those are the ones that they all hurt. But when you start getting hit a second and third time, that's when it really starts to catch you off guard.
Fontaine to the middle of the track, and Haley was already committed there. There's just nowhere that Haley could have gone. Bam.
Double figure trucks involved in this one.
You can see both Haley trying to get lower and Fontaine lower. And the result was carnage.
And that's what we were talking about earlier. You know, you saw the 47 truck come down right there to block. Haley had already committed to, you know, and was way lower. And, you know, from where the spotters are, that's a really tough angle to tell the driver, you know, you're clear, you're clear, you're clear. And it'd be interesting to hear his radio as to what his spotter was telling him at that particular time.
Well, we had been talking earlier about it seemed like we were so close to having the big one, but everyone had been able to keep it gathered up. Not this time. 10 different trucks involved. Watch out the back of the 98 of Infinger, who was leading at the time.
Both of you clear. You're clear now. He's not. Crash behind you. Crash behind you. Just roll on through here. The entire field's in it.
Big hit for Crafton.
Look at Todd Gilliland slipping through, and Myatt Schneider. Good job by those guys. Austin Hill. But unbelievable contact.
From the view of Noah Gregson.
Back it down, back it down, back it down. They're going to hit it. They're going to come back to the flag. Get on the apron. Clear lower. Get lower. All right, keep coming through here.
I love the job Gregson.
Ford has won here at Talladega just once. It was the first race run here back in 2006. Mark Martin took it to victory lane. Oh, contact, and around goes Todd Gilliland.
Hold your brake there. You okay, Todd?
And a big hit for the 4. Was running second.
There's the bump. Trying to get to the inside.
Yeah, and a lot of times what happens right there, you know, you saw him get the 98 truck up, and as he came up and hit him with the right front, you just lose control of your truck, and it shoots it to the left. So he got in the back bumper of him, and that's what we were talking about earlier. When you're offset to the left like that, it makes that truck in front of you loose when you get into the left rear quarter panel. And then he got under him, and Infinger just came down and hit that right front and just shot it to the left. Man, that's a big hit.
A lot of times, Kevin, we watch these wrecks and haven't done this for 100 years. You say that was definitely one driver or the other's fault, but that just looked almost like hard racing for the lead. Look how much that truck crumbles in the front. The wall moves. The safer barrier does its job.
Yeah, and I think that situation right there is I think Todd just, you know, trying to get up there and bump draft on the 98 truck of Infinger. It's like he was trying to hit him, but like you can't be offset to the left right there. And as you come up off the corner, you just want to be able to get right on that back bumper and push him forward. But that is a big hit, and thank goodness those safer barriers are there.
Watch it from the view of Infinger out the back.
Have out back.
Has won races here before. He's very good and very experienced at super speedway racing in the 25 truck.
Noah Gregson trying to keep the pack behind him. Coming to the line and getting the white flag. 1 to go. Justin Haley with a big push from the 51 of David Gilliland. Side by side, Haley and Gregson. Some contact with the 25 of Peters. And Gregson goes around.
And we're wrecking.
And they're wrecking at Talladega.
And Peters was ahead when we saw that caution.
Timothy Peters, a 2-time winner at Talladega. And Noah Gregson sits in disappointment.
Well, I think so.
And Timothy Peters will get his 3rd Talladega win. Of Justin Haley, and then eventually into the back end of the 18. And Timothy Peters wins for the 11th time in his career.
Had some good momentum to the back of Gregson and just hit him off center, and around went the 18.
And it just doesn't take much, and you could just feel, you know, the energy building as we got there towards those last couple laps, really last 6 or 7 laps there. And these guys just all started pushing and shoving, and you see Peters go up there, and Gregson went to block him. I mean, he was trying to win the race and wound up getting himself crashed, but there's no fault of his. I mean, he was doing what he had to do to try to win, and he had to block.
Watch it for from the onboard of that 18 truck.
24. Don't let them split you. Keep it pink. Lane up. Quarter lane up. Keep it pink. Keep it pink. And get it rolling here when we can.
Of the day. It involves the 18 of Harrison Burton. And boy, when you are racing at Talladega, you're bunched up, and that can create some issues.
Get wadded up. You can see Matt Crafton, for some reason, maybe a little bit of bump from Burton, and Burton backs out. And Tyler Ankrum in the 17 was right on the back of Burton, and around he goes.
We saw that move by the outside line really had some momentum. You see, they've already pulled down in front there, and then they just got a little bit jumbled up. That probably cost that inside line some speed. And just a bit of a chain reaction situation here.
How about the view from Austin Hill's truck?
Man, you're just hoping that it goes the other way at that point. There was nothing Austin Hill could do, and Burton goes up the track. He rolled out of the gas, but then right back in it, knowing that he needed to clear the scene.
It's almost amazing. From the 45 of Chastain as Infinger gets right up on the back bumper.
You can see Ross just trying to take up both lanes and doesn't make the move down in front of Infinger in time.
The 0-2 of Tyler Dipple bringing out the caution.
Looks like he got into the outside wall, obviously in the middle of some heavy traffic.
Now he's gotten into the inside wall.
Gave Dipple a nudge.
Got together, but I don't know if Dipple was coming down or Peters was going up.
Or Peters was trying to help him. It could have been a situation that he was just trying to help him do a little bump drafting, and it went awry. We talked about damage on one of those trucks that was a black truck. It's the A truck of John Hunter Nemechek that has a lot of damage to the front end of that truck, as we see Dipple again into the outside wall. Pitting is now out of touch with his lead pack here. Caution's out.
And there is the caution.
That's what Brett Moffitt needed. Anthony Alfredo looks like he cut down the left rear tire. Now Brett Moffitt will get the free.
Crazy though, it's all falling apart in this race. They were right up front, 1, 2, 3, and now.
Well, that's a shame for Anthony Alfredo. He had a good day going. Done a nice job. A lot of energy in this pack. There's Brett Moffitt in the 24.
There it goes.
Oh, and there's a collection into the wall and through the grass on the bottom.
I would be shocked if it weren't Ross Chastain.
And there he is.
Trying to block like we talked about.
Timothy Peters.
And Timothy.
The way these trucks pull up to get over in time, and Creed was committed.
And Infinger just got collected by Chastain as well. Watch it from the view of Austin Hill.
What a nice job Austin Hill did to avoid that.
There it was.
It's a hard hit right
Ouch. There. It happens so quickly. Sometimes that spot that's open, but by the time you actually go for it, it's not.
Well, Sheldon Creed was going through the middle. He was going to try to get underneath Ross Chastain, and Ross realized that and started to turn down to try to block that move, and there just wasn't time, Michael, as we've been talking about.
Look at nice job by Natalie Decker. Check that out. She's going to maybe make just a little contact, but up on the racetrack, she was sideways and slid down the hill. I don't think there's much damage to that 54 truck.
Plenty of damage to that 45 of Ross Chastain, however. From the lead, Chastain will get put on the hook, and you see all those that were involved, although Sheldon Creed trying to work the high line with his teammate Ben Rhodes. They're a little further back.
Oh, no.
And Gus Dean is going around.
Ooh, hard contact.
A big hit for Gus Dean, and the caution is out.
These trucks are so hard to handle, Phil. in a pack like that. If your truck just started up there, but I think that the front end was light on him. You know, he was already heading up that way, and that push into the back was just more than he could handle at that moment.
That's Gilliland in the 4.
See him kind of bouncing up the track, and then that push from Gilliland was just at the wrong place at the wrong time.
And Gilliland had nowhere to go either. He had someone on his back bumper, and boy, that's a
man, that's a frightening feeling seeing that wall coming at that speed. Believe me, I know I've hit a few of them.
Thank goodness for the safer barrier. Obviously, you see how much damage there is to that truck. Could have been a whole lot worse.
Potter on the inside and Sheldon Creed on the outside.
Great launch by Brett there. Was able to give that push to Sauter and get him ahead of Creed, but here comes Creed on the outside.
Harrison Burton giving Creed the shove.
That 2 truck has been awfully strong this entire race. Nobody has any more experience than Johnny Sauter, though, on the inside of the racetrack.
Sauter, former series champion with 24 career wins. Sheldon Creed seeking his first career win.
How about Austin Hill?
Austin Hill from 8th on the restart on the outside line, trying to make it interesting down the stretch. Meanwhile, Moffitt has given Sauter a push, and Johnny Sauter is out front.
Let's see if they can get to the start-finish line to catch this white flag.
It's Sauter and Moffitt and Riley Herbst on the bottom.
Look at that big push Gilliland's given to the back of Burton. Moffitt's going to crowd him up.
The white flag is out. 1 lap remaining. The next flag, whether it's the caution or the checkers, will end it. And Sauter is in the lead. Riley Herbst is second. Grant Enfinger third on the bottom lane. Harrison Burton, the first truck on the outside line.
Look at Brett Moffitt's on the outside, jumped in behind Gilliland, trying to make something happen. Look at Grant Enfinger. Wasn't he in that wreck just a few laps ago?
Gilliland trying to get active on the outside, but it's Johnny Sauter out front with Riley Herbst right behind him.
I can't believe they're going to make it.
How about Stuart Friesen not running in the 4th spot?
Sauter trying to hold off the field. Johnny Sauter eliminated from the playoffs last week, but he's going to get it done at Talladega today. Johnny Sauter holding off the crowd and winning for the second time at Talladega.
Boy, that was some pretty intense blocking. But his day isn't over, Vince, and Kurt, you can attest to this. When you have trouble early, there we go.
Sheldon Creed.
Hang on to it, buddy. That is going to jumble up everybody up front. Good save.
Oh, no. Big accident deeper in the field.
The accordion effect wiped out huge. There's Zane Smith. Oh,
Joe
man.
Nemechek.
Playoff drivers involved in that one.
Dawson Cram in that 41.
Man, that's a mess.
Heavy damage. The 30 of Danny Bone involved. There's the 41 of Cram, as Michael mentioned.
Now you're okay if you're Grant Enfinger. You know, you got out of line, you survived.
Yeah, he's 2 laps down, but man, there is some carnage, and Zane Smith's day is done. And those guys are all along for the ride. Nothing that Zane Smith can do. The 17 truck was trying to go around the outside. It's just when you're now blocking, the wrecks are starting up further and further and further to the front. And the Cup Series, Xfinity Series, and the trucks, and then it's those guys towards the back that end up with the big change of speed.
Unfortunate for that 24, Chase Purdy.
Look at that job that the 15 Tanner Gray does.
Yeah, Gray got through there.
That was awesome. He just picked his way right through that mess.
It was amazing. You heard that fret in the voice of Crafton.
This ain't going to end up good. Oh.
Big hit. Gus Dean driving for Timmy Hill and the Hill brothers this weekend.
Been running up.
He just overreacted. And then the 15, Gray wanted to get back to the bottom. That was 2 guys trying to walk down the hallway at each other, and they both chose the same position at the same time.
Gus Dean was running 10th at the time, and here's that contact with Tanner Gray.
Man, Tanner Gray just cut him off. I mean, there's no 2 ways around that.
Yeah, I mean, I think Gray was stressing because he got shoved into the middle right here, and he's trying to get back low, but he was down there.
Cut him off twice. And the second one was just Dean couldn't withstand that one.
there's times when you're in the middle and you're like, everybody's driving by. Oh, man, it's a hard hit. And you're checking the
team truck and you're going to make mistakes. Oh, trouble
and
ahead.
There it is. Just talking about Tanner Gray. Todd Gilliland looks like he's got an issue as well. And heavy damage to the 15.
You know, it's interesting, Vince. We were zeroed in on the 15, and we talked about we saw something go wrong, and the first reaction that we have is there's trouble ahead. Something
breaker for Todd Gilliland.
And it was, I've never seen anybody play the accordion, Vince, but as Kurt pointed out, again, it's the accordion effect.
And it's going to be about 4 or 5 trucks behind where the trouble started. And there's Gray. He gets spit out. Man, hard hit. Here's right along with Gray. Look at the Gray's what he's trying to look at. And was that a small hit from Austin Hill? Just a small little itty-bitty hit as they were coming onto the straightaway. That's where vehicles are their loosest or their most vulnerable. It's right on corner exit, right there.
Fortunate that didn't collect more. They're now getting a big push from Ben Rhodes while Trevor Bayne is giving a shove to Stuart Friesen. It's the final lap at Talladega for the Gander trucks.
It is all on the line. These guys are pushing. They're not worried about it anymore, about saving this or saving that. This is wide open, 3, 4 wide. Everybody's changing lanes. Lassard sideways is the leader on the inside.
Oh, Ben Rhodes trying to keep him gathered up. Some contact, and now around goes Friesen.
Will they stay green?
Ankrum is around as well.
So is Eckes.
Oh, the yellow is out.
And the caution has come out.
And as they're scored, I have Friesen on my board, but I don't see him.
Rafael Lassard.
Where'd he go?
Was out there at the front as well. That's Lassard and Trevor Bayne running as the top 2. And there's Austin Hill getting out of his truck as it's on fire.
And as we stand right now, Ankrum is in. And Eckes is out.
There's why you didn't see Friesen. And that's...
he was leading.
That's where our...
So there was 2 different wrecks.
Christian Eckes there in the 18. They'll have to go to the video and also check the scoring loops.
I think if I had to, I hate to speculate, but I think the 4 truck of Rafael Lassard had control of the race when the caution flew, but we'll have to see. Trevor Bayne thought he did. He drove
through your head as there's nothing between you except some feet.
Yeah,
and the
it was
flag.
Like, I don't know who was behind me, but he gave me a heck of a push. I can't thank him enough because he's part of that win too. He pushed me as hard as he could, and I was just holding on for the ride, and damn, the caution came out at the right time, and I'm so happy. It's my first time doing a burnout after a win, so man, I loved it. Hopefully I can do it some more.
You are a rookie. Tell me what this year.
Know that if it's going to be hard to get around you with the car on the truck on the outside.
And a caution is out, and it is the 28 of Doza. And that's the first caution for incident today. And like he just got loose there, no contact, and boy, cut in front of a few trucks. Fortunately,
out of the lead draft sometimes causes an accident as well. These guys aren't as experienced as you Cup guys. The communication sometimes isn't.
Oh, there it is. It's Austin Hill and Zane Smith.
It's going to be more too, Vince.
Wow. The big one.
More and more trucks keep piling in. There is nowhere to go now. And you can't even go through the grass because it'll just rip the splitter off.
Oh! Sauter involved in that one as well. I think it's going to be easier to tell you who wasn't involved. It looks like Ben Rhodes and Carson Hoseva are able to navigate through, but there is a lot of damage. Parker Kligerman.
Man, and that...
And this is picking it up a little bit after initial chaos began.
What about Matt Kraft in one of the first trucks to sneak through there? Haley Deegan sliding sideways in the one truck, but she never hit anything.
I think she's going to get through there clean, but let's look at this replay. This is where we'll see the truck on the inside get hooked and shoved up, and I believe it's like the 4th truck in line.
I think that would have been Gilliland that maybe got into the back end of the 16 of Hill.
Hit the 3rd truck in line, and then it's just it's a push forward, and that's why you always have to know how much room. Wow, Jennifer Jo Cobb coming in there hot. But you always got to know how much room is in front of the truck in front of you. That's the key moment.
And you know, there could be a situation, just an aggressive push. We've seen them do that before today, Kurt, but they got away with it. Not this time.
Sheldon Creed got through there, and you know, sometimes it's the accidents you narrowly miss when you look back at the end of the day and say, whew, we won this one because we missed that one. And maybe that's going to be a situation for Creed later today, or maybe even a Todd Gilliland.
Great move by Matt Crafton to get through there along with Creed, and now they see all the carnage behind them, and they're going to breathe a little bit easier.
On board here with Gilliland.
Let's listen to the motor.
Yeah, it's off turn 2 down the back straightaway. Let's listen in.
He was getting pushed from behind, Kurt, and you could hear him roll out of the gas. The push from behind got him the extra speed.
Jamie?
And he is all over that back bumper, Todd Gilliland, right now. But I'm going to go back to what he said before the race. He said, I was with my Thorsport teammates. Oh, and he goes
it's
around.
It's a big hit. Hocevar involved in it as well. Friesen is involved.
I'm just throwing my clipboard down right now. I don't know what the 98 was wanting to do there. There was no reason. There's still more than 20 to go. And then Creed's looking to make a move. And then by this time, you're already changing way too many lanes.
Oh, and Stuart Friesen's so close to slipping through.
And I think Creed had a little bit of contact with Friesen in that 52, but doesn't look to be too significant of damage, so Creed may have avoided
and now
disaster.
I'm looking at Hocevar. His radiator has been dumped out on the track. Man, he tried too hard to block, but at the same time, there's no reason to jump up.
So you think, Kurt, that Enfinger made the move too soon?
In my mind, yes, especially with teammates all lined up in the bottom lane. There was no real reason to be in this much of a hurry.
He's in good position here, but then when Creed jumps to the outside, Enfinger goes out to block him.
And the difference in speed between those two trucks is just significant. And I don't know that Creed could have gotten off of the back of the 98 if he wanted to. What do you think, Kurt?
I don't think so. Lane change in central, and things get busy up front. Especially with the loss of momentum for a lead vehicle. That lead vehicle always gets hit with that air, and you're pushed back into the other guy. I was on board with John Hunter Nemechek. It looks like he's able to squeak through there. Not too much, but Hocevar, he's going to end up the worst as far as a playoff guy, along with Friesen.
I think Creed, does he even...
Yeah, they hit right there.
A little bit of contact, and that's all it takes at that speed.
Yep.
Enfinger was, like Kurt said, changing lanes, losing momentum. Any kind of bump right there, as you see, would result in a spin.
Hocevar climbing out of his truck, and he is a shake of the head there with his frustration, and understandably so.
Back there.
Here comes Nemechek and Crafton on the outside. Strange bedfellows considering
he got turned.
And it's Purdy going around, and caution is out. We have not taken the white flag, so that means we're going to get overtime.
Do we have enough gas for down there? And he just leaves enough of that racetrack open where Gillen gets in there and then make contact.
Oof. Game of inches.
Look at that mess. Watch Matt Crafton. He's still trying to get more. As Purdy goes around, he's on the outside trying to make passes, make moves.
It's amazing on how many different things you can focus in on at plate racing.
Crafton and Nemechek right back in the mix after running back outside the top 10 just a few laps ago. Let's go on board with Gilliland.
If you're Gilliland, you're thinking this guy's going to block on the bottom and keep that.
So far, it hasn't hurt Gilliland as much as we thought, but it's now or never.
Getting a big push from Nemechek. Near contact between the two lines. There's one to go. The white flag. The next flag will end it.
gripping, pushing, gouging, shoving. Everybody's doing all they can with whatever lane they've committed to. You've got to stay in it right now.
A spot to the Final Four and a championship on the line. If Nemechek or a Rhodes or a Crafton could win, but Crafton is slipping back. Oh, Holmes gets into Rhodes a little bit, but Rhodes is able to save it. It's Nemechek and Gilliland out front. Todd Gilliland leads with Fogelman third, and they're wrecking behind them. Still green, coming to the end.
They're still green, and Nemechek makes a move to the inside.
To the bottom. John Hunter Nemechek getting a push, trying to make it to the line. Fogelman is behind him. Fogelman wants to make a move. Can Tate Fogelman do it? He wrecks Nemechek, and it's Fogelman. Tate Fogelman wins.
Wow, and the truck is now destroyed. Who put the start-finish line down where they did here at Talladega? Because it just gives you so much extra time to thrash things. Bill?
They've done for me in my career. I don't know what he's mad about. He's old man, so whatever. But just unfortunate. Should have won. Tried helping everyone all day and tried getting there. So it is what it is. We'll move on to Martinsville. I think we're 30-something above the cut line, so just have to go have a solid day right there. That's it.
All right, John Hunter Nemechek, 36 points, still leading in the playoffs, Vince.
Well, and this is one of the biggies.
There's a boulevard down there, too, somewhere that people like to visit, right, Vince?
Be a big concert. Bailey Zimmerman and Chris Rice performing tonight.
Nice. There's Enfinger, buried back in the pack a bit.
Coming to the end of this stage, guys. Only 3 laps to go in this stage. We talked about how desperately these guys need stage points. A little bit of move on the insides. You see Matt Crafton bailed out there in the 88 truck, but doesn't look like Enfinger right now is in position to get any stage points, but you never know.
Enfinger needs the stage point. Crafton does not. He's already been eliminated from the playoffs. Enfinger, he needs those. He came into this race 15 below the cut line as you watch the 88 of Crafton and that neon yellow bail.
Wow, he just was in a great spot. He just rolled up.
Did he get pushed out there again? Just the same kind of situation by Chandler Smith that we saw earlier?
And the caution is out. Jordan Anderson. We talked about Jordan being in the field, and there is a lot of fire.
On fire, but get out.
Oh, man. Get that thing stopped.
And that's a big hit.
Wow.
Oh, my goodness. Wow.
That was, he didn't know where he was.
Yes.
He couldn't see where he was, and he knew he had to get out. So lucky that he was able to get above the wall and out that door. Holy cow, that was dramatic. He's on the ground, sure, struggling to catch his breath.
AMR safety crew right there.
Well, that thing sure went up in flames quick, didn't it?
He was running in the top 5.
Having a great race. And
Jordan Anderson, truck coming to a rest there on that inside wall, and it was a pretty heavy contact just as he was trying to get out of the truck.
He was so athletic right there to make that move to get out of that window and up on the wall.
Well, and very fortunate too, because
fortunate.
the timing of that could have been disastrous.
And like you said, he couldn't see. He didn't know where he was. All he knew, it was time to bail out is all he knew.
Still being tended to by the AMR safety crew. They're making sure the firemen on hand, making sure that the fire is put out on that truck.
We know that physically he was able to remove himself from the truck, so and climb down the wall before he laid on the ground, which gives me great hope that he's just struggling to catch his breath.
It's the 3 of Jordan Anderson, and you see the truck at rest there on the inside wall, and the safety crew around Jordan, who's laying on the ground. He did get out, as Mike said, out of the truck under his own power, and then went to the ground, and safety crew is there right away to tend to him. Stretcher is out, but we'll see if they put Jordan on it or if he ends up walking to the ambulance under his own power. But a scary incident to be sure.
Obviously, they will err on the side of caution for Jordan.
You know, before that truck ever got to the wall, you could tell that the fire had been had already
burnt the paint off the right side.
Absolutely,
right,
you could see how much damage to the outside of the truck was already evident well before he got to the wall. So stage 1 will be completed under caution, with John Hunter Nemechek taking the green and white checkered, 7th stage win of the season for John Hunter, and some very important stage points for him as he came in to this race, 9 points below the cut line.
You know, and he talked earlier about the fact that he didn't feel like this was a make or break race. He just thought he needed to survive. Getting those 10 stage points was very huge. But he's also confident about what he's going to have when he gets to Miami. He thinks he can go down there and win that race. But padding, erasing that deficit today is huge.
5 playoff drivers collected stage points in that first stage, led by Nemechek, who got the 10.
Stuart Friesen just missed out in the 11th position. Grant Enfinger as well.
So stage 1 complete, with John Hunter Nemechek being the winner, and Zane Smith finishing second under caution, with Carson Hocevar, Chandler Smith, and Colby Howard in the top 5.
Colby Howard, watch that kid. We talk about him every week, being very fast and a potential winner. Had a good starting position, started 7th, was able to maintain. And I think this first stage, Vince, is a whole lot about where you qualified. You know, you qualify up front, you control the race, you get those stage points. John Hunter set on the pole, and he wins the first stage.
Tanner Gray, Ben Rhodes, Corey Heim, Christian Eckes, Tyler Ankrum rounding out the top 10. But stage 1 belongs to this man, John Hunter Nemechek.
Ten drivers in, 1 driver out. Only one's left standing in the end. I am the NASCAR Camping World Truck Series playoffs. I am NASCAR.
Back at Talladega, getting ready for pit stops at the conclusion here of stage 1. John Hunter Nemechek won the first stage. He won under caution after the accident involving Jordan Anderson. Brought out the yellow with a couple of laps to go in stage 1. And Jordan Anderson has been loaded up in the ambulance and taken to the care center. We'll get an update on that momentarily.
That was scary. And I'm looking forward to some good news about Jordan.
We saw how close everyone had been running since the drop of the green flag. We know that was a situation where something failed, more than likely an engine, caused an oil fire, I would guess.
Yeah, one vehicle accident. I mean, it was there was no one else involved, but
I just did
still a frightening visual. Let's take a look at it here with the 3 of Jordan Anderson. Okay, and there's Jordan in that 3 yellow and black truck. You saw it circled there.
Yeah, doing a great job. There's obviously engine, and immediately goes up in flames. You can see there's flames. Looks like flames inside the cab of the truck. Not as much the driver's side.
But you know he's got to be feeling that inside.
He's got the net down and is extricating himself. But look at this. He's out of the truck nearly, and that.
Wow.
Man.
Scary situation for sure. Jordan Anderson got out and laid down on the ground, and the safety crew eventually put him in the ambulance, took him to the care center. John Hunter Nemechek on the inside as we get the green flag for stage 2 at Talladega.
There's the jump by Chandler. He'll whip to the bottom.
Looks like Ben Rhodes, I thought, was going to be able to jump down in front of John Hunter Nemechek for a moment.
Almost.
Maybe decided he doesn't want to.
Rhodes on the outside trying to get past, and a lot of smoke.
Speedy dry.
Yeah, just speedy dry left from Jordan Anderson's
Jordan
truck.
Anderson incident, but got to make it difficult for some of those to see. Is that
it was making it difficult for me to see, Vince. Can't imagine what it'd been like in those trucks.
About a couple teammates locked up on the outside as well as on the inside. Thorsport on the outside with Eckes pushing Rhodes, who cautions down the racetrack.
And it's the 91 of Colby Howard. Boy, that's too bad. Howard had a terrific run in stage 1.
Does it look like the right front's down?
The left rear's down for sure.
Caution out.
This helps my heart rate
for a few moments.
Get to relax a bit.
There's the carcass of the tire.
I was going to say the reason that Colby is going to have to come to pit road. He'd restarted inside the top 10, had a good run in that first stage. And he's really had a he's been in one of the bright spots of the series, I think, this season. Really seen some good runs out of, hasn't always gotten the finishing result that he's deserved, but
we've become big fans of Colby because of his aggressive nature, the speed that he shows. Looks like maybe just a tire issue here, Phil.
I don't see a lot of damage. We could be okay. Could be okay. Get some tires on that truck and could be fine.
Right front's up.
Yeah, I think definitely the left rear down.
He's run all season, career best 9th on a couple of occasions. 20-year-old from Simpsonville, South Carolina. Watch it all the way back. See if we can catch it from deep in the pack there.
Well, it looks like a mess.
Yeah.
Ooh, somebody.
That's Colby. They're
that's
spinning,
Colby.
and everybody does a great job of avoiding him.
Oh, wow. You can see the carcass of the tire already came off.
Crafton slips by.
Yeah. Watch this last truck. It was Kaz Gralla that got by at the last instant on the inside. And it's not easy to really turn those trucks that hard running 180 miles an hour.
Early caution in stage 2. Ben Rhodes out front here at Talladega. Back at Talladega, playoff race for the NASCAR Camping World Truck Series, the second of 3 races in the round of 8. Ty Majeski, the only driver who has clinched a spot in the championship 4. Somebody else hoping to do that today. There's a look at the helicopter that is transporting Jordan Anderson to a local hospital. Jordan was involved in a 1-vehicle crash. His motor let go, had a big fire on board. Ended up making contact with the inside wall. And Jordan was taken to the infield care center. Jamie Little reporting that he had burns and was in a good amount of discomfort, as you can imagine. But they are transporting him to a local hospital. And certainly wish the best for Jordan.
Speed lives, and John Hunter is just doing it perfectly right there.
That's textbook how to do it.
At 190 miles an hour.
At 190 miles an hour, yes.
And by the way, only thing he can see is that truck in front of him. You can't see through the cab out there what's in front of the truck ahead of you, so it's a lot of guesswork too, making sure he knows he's safe because he knows there's no one blocking Chandler. But if you're back here where Zane is, he's got 2 trucks he's got to worry about. It just gets more and more as you go.
Well, that's certainly where you're really leaning on those spotters for that extra set of eyes. As you see that replay there again of Nemechek and Chandler Smith.
Yeah, one time Chandler Smith got a little bit loose. Again, even if you do it perfectly, it doesn't always work.
Another caution, and this is Carson Hocevar and Lawless Allen, teammates at Nice Motorsports. See, Allen has certainly taken the worst of it, but you saw Hocevar had slowed as well.
Yeah, I don't think they were related. I believe Hocevar might have just got hit and got loose. But there's certainly something happened.
That looks like maybe part of his teammates' truck.
Part of Lawless's truck. Lawless was having a great run up inside the top 20 most of the race. Wow.
Yeah, it's going to put an end to his day, unfortunately.
Heavy damage for Lawless Allen.
AMR safety team right there.
Oh, another truck. Brian Duzo.
Significant damage to that truck as well. making just his second start of the season after starting at Daytona. So heavy damage for a couple of these vehicles. And then Carson Hocevar got a little bit of damage as well. Certainly his doesn't look to be nearly as significant, obviously, but Lawless Allen being put on the hook. I don't know that Doza is going to be able to continue either.
There you see Lawless walk away. Let's see if we can pick up what happened.
Look at the replay
wide
here, right in the
there.
middle of the screen.
4 wide. See, Carson just had an issue getting out of the way. And then maybe it was that a right front tire failure, Phil?
It looked like it. It looked like he
certainly was
right
abrupt, wasn't it?
Oh yeah, you can see it blows the fender off the truck. Man, wow, hard contact. As you mentioned earlier, you thought certainly coincidental that Carson was having a problem. That could have been debris though off of Lawless Allen's truck that stuck in the front of Carson's truck.
Yeah, Carson just bailed, and then wow, what an impact for that 45 of Allen.
What happened there? Blow a tire? Yeah, blew it right in front. It started vibrating. I was about to say something and just exploded.
And you heard him say that hurt.
Yeah.
At 190 mile an hour. They, you know, some people erroneously call those safer barriers soft walls. Yeah. They're not soft.
They're
maybe softer than
softer,
concrete, but not soft.
I've hit a few of those walls, and I will agree with you, Vince. It hurts.
Under caution again here in stage 2 at Talladega. Hey, coming up after our post-race show here on FS1, keep it right here on the channel. It's a battle in the Big Ten, college football, Michigan.
Along with John Hunter.
How about running last and next to last? Zane Smith and Chandler Smith. Obviously, two different schools of thought. We've got Eckes and Rhodes running up at the very front of the field, and these guys thinking that something's going to happen, and they want to try to be in position to avoid it.
Well, we know that Chandler and Zane both have damage. They've had issues with their trucks, but they're fast enough, in my opinion, that when something happens, I'm not going to go with if. I'm going when, Phil. When something happens in this front pack, it'll give them a chance to reset.
I think that's got to be a strategy play for those two drivers back there, no question. With 22 to go, plenty of time to get up through the field.
Don't forget that black truck on the outside right now, the 17 of Rhodes. Oh. There it is.
Colby Howard. And the caution is out.
Great job of making that a one truck incident. You see the right rear tire is down as well as the right front tire on Colby Howard's truck, just from the spin.
Running inside the top 10 when that truck got away from him. Probably a bump draft go wrong, whether he bobbled or somebody hit him in an inopportune spot. Around he went, but you're right, Phil. Really fortunate to only be a one truck spin.
It's not often that you bring out the caution twice in the same race at Talladega and never hit anything or have any more damage. Colby Howard twice has had a tire issue today and
nice
brought
circle,
out the
Phil.
caution.
Yeah, that's John Hunter Nemechek, the 4 truck right behind him, the black truck. Let's see what happens here. Looks like he just lost it. He got the left side
in the back of the pack as the front continues side by side.
How many rows deep are they side by side? Looks like at least about 10.
Man, we haven't mentioned the name Corey Heim much, if at all, today, and he has raced his way up to the 3rd truck on that inside lane.
You know, and you're also getting to the point in the race, Vince, where it's sort of not as important if it's a Toyota or a Ford or Chevy. You just need help. You know, you've got to use whatever trucks behind you or you're with that you're making progress with. You've got to get in a position to be able to win with your manufacturer teammates, and sometimes you've got to use the others to get there. I'm interested in this combination of
piling up on the outside. Johnny Sauter involved, as is Tanner Gray and Grant Infinger, one of our playoff drivers in that 23 truck.
Yeah, he's done. Maybe that strategy by Stuart Friesen, Chandler Smith, Zane Smith are right around the back. May have been pretty.
Austin Wayne Self was that pink truck.
Yeah, buddy, cut a tire.
Tanner Gray, Infinger. Oh.
Was that Grant we were hearing?
Yes, that was Jeff Hensley asked him if he cut a tire.
The right rear's gone. Not only the tire, but the bumper too.
Horrible break for Infinger. Opened the playoffs with a win at IRP.
Best average finish in that first round.
And he hasn't finished outside the top 5 yet in the playoffs. 4 playoff races, 4 top 5 finishes, including a win. Not going to be the case today.
I think the team,
without some sort of miracle.
I think the team's wondering if there's a future here.
A lot of damage to that truck.
Johnny Sauter involved.
There's the 15 of Tanner Gray getting ready to be put on the hook. He showed some good speed early in the race today as well. And of course, his teammate Ryan Preece is running up in the top 5 currently. When at this point for the 23 of Infinger, I mean, you're just trying to salvage anything to get that truck to be able to roll, because your championship hopes are right there.
They just try to be able to beat the other trucks that have trouble. Get back on the racetrack and make minimum speed.
And Vince, we're all very well aware there might be another big one. And if there's another big one, he could possibly finish in the top 10 with this truck if they can just get it rolling, get all the wheels pointed in the right direction, the panels taped down. Let's see what happens here with Grant. You see the truck starting to wiggle.
That's that yellow truck in front of the pink truck.
Yeah, 4th in line
right
on the
there.
outside.
Yeah, he realizes that something went wrong, but it's, as you mentioned, they're so close together, you don't have any room to maneuver without somebody. You back off the throttle, you get run into.
Yeah, Austin Wayne Self had nowhere to go, and just Sauter got caught up, and so did Tanner Gray. I mean, it was just chain reaction.
Look at the job Parker Kligerman does in the Tide truck right there, slips by.
Right between
great driving.
Johnny Sauter and Brett Holmes.
You know, and sometimes it's those near misses that you go back at the end of the day after you've won the race and say, thank goodness.
Watch come tiptoeing along late in the spin. I don't know if we'll see him or not, but John Hunter Nemechek just riding out back after his pit stop gets through this as well. See if we can catch John Hunter.
That's Haley Deegan.
Haley Deegan to the bottom. There goes Parker making it.
De Benedetto.
Thank you, Vince.
Hocevar.
Hocevar down below the line, and he's got a problem.
He's not getting back up to speed for sure. Right rear tire down. Looks like it.
Camping World 5 to go, staying green. Hocevar out of the mix.
How about Brett Holmes now to the lead?
Now he has to try to manage this mess, Phil.
Got to manage both lines. Oh, Hocevar stopped on the racetrack. That will bring out the caution.
Hasn't yet. Big move to the inside by.
And now the caution is out. And Hocevar has the 42 fired up and rolling again.
Well, those guys laying back were right about there being a caution flag.
They just
didn't happen like they thought it would probably happen.
Didn't think it was going to look like that, did they? NASCAR doesn't. If losing a right, you can see it's. He looked like he's had a flat for about 10 laps. Finally,
it's been loose enough.
It finally goes away, and he's able to somehow get down out of the way.
Fortunately, he didn't pile up the whole field right there.
Did a great job getting out of the way. Yeah, that right rear tire's flat right there. You could see it.
These teams maybe overestimated the length they could run those right side tires.
He's eventually going to spin, at least do a half a spin.
Needed a caution.
He got it refired after the caution came
on the outside, and Christian's on the bottom, and they know what's at stake, what's hanging in front of them. Very aggressive. You just have to hold it wide open right here and hope for the right pushes.
What better way to settle it, huh? NASCAR overtime at Talladega. Rhodes and Eckes on the front row.
What happens in row 2? Looks like the bottom is organized very well here.
De Benedetto giving a good push to Eckes. Holmes now to the back bumper of the 99 of Rhodes.
And that's going to have momentum. He didn't get to him at first, but now that he's there, look at him come.
Brett Holmes right now doing a great job pushing Ben Rhodes. He's going to push him out in front. He is. They're both clear.
Rhodes and Holmes 1-2 now in front of Eckes.
That momentum was impressive, and here they come on the outside.
Now Eckes to the outside to join Rhodes, and the bottom line is moving with a push from De Benedetto. It's Holmes to the lead.
Couple Chevrolets down on the bottom. De Benedetto and Holmes.
The Toyotas are side drafting, trying to break that up.
Coming to the white flag is out, 1 to go.
Next one ends it. Next flag ends it, Vince, as you mentioned.
It's Holmes, the Alabama native, trying to win for the very first time in his Camping World Truck Series career. The former ARCA champ, he is out front.
He might be too far out in front now, Vince.
Here comes Rhodes with a push from Eckes, his teammate, on the outside. And Rhodes cuts in front of Holmes.
Look at Corey Heim now pushing on the outside.
Eckes on the outside, Rhodes on the inside, teammates at Thorsport. Here they come into the tri-oval.
Gotta stay bottom lane.
Rhodes in the lead. Wreck to the outside. Rhodes still there, trying to hold off. And the yellow and the checkers fly, and is it Brett Holmes? Holmes on the outside line, and I think he did it. Carnage everywhere, but Brett Holmes snuck the high line, and I think he got to the line first.
Wow, Matt De Benedetto was sideways on the bottom. They were side by side. It was too close to call from me. You talked about 0.02 of a second, Phil. That's what timing and scoring is showing now, but it's certainly unofficial.
Wrecked vehicles everywhere.
We really didn't have a big one, but we also said at the top of the show, it's not over till the very finish of the last lap, and obviously so many trucks get torn up.
And still not official.
Watch this move. Crashing on the outside. Brett Holmes somehow gets to the bottom.
Nemechek did a great job avoiding that.
Sure did.
Some big hits back in the back.
And there's the block to the top by Rhodes, and look, off the racetrack went De Benedetto, and just straight up the outside is Holmes.
I think it's Holmes. Yeah. He's definitely farther across the line,
certainly,
than De Benedetto. And that's what timing and scoring is saying right now, that Holmes wins, as you mentioned, Michael, by 0.02 of a second.
What a great shot, guys.
Was the caution was out before they got to the start-finish line.
Yeah, if the caution was out, then that's going to end the race, and they'll go back to whatever they need to, video whatever evidence they can use to support that.
I think Holmes got to the finish line first, but the caution was out prior to that point, and that's what NASCAR is looking at to see which vehicle was actually in front at that point.
And if, depending on the timing of the caution, the flip of the switch, when the caution becomes official, De Benedetto was way out of bounds and sideways, so they got to understand all that. He got forced down there, so there's a lot to consider.
And he was wrecking down there. So
Johnny Sauter walking to the ambulance.
We mentioned Nemechek getting by that. Obviously, he got caught up later because he's gone across the line as finishing 24th as of now. But that all could change depending on when the caution,
the moment of caution,
and what the running order was at that moment.
Remember the finish at Daytona, how we had to sort through the caution flag and how that affected exactly the outcome of the race.
Well, how nerve-wracking a moment this must be for Brett Holmes.
Pull the head up a little bit.
I love how the crew just said, pull ahead of him a little bit. I don't think it matters now.
You don't think this video matters as much?
Let's just certainly get a picture of it at least, right?
Watch it. We're going to give you the replay again from above, and keep an eye on when the caution comes out as they start wrecking, initially with Corey Heim.
Christian Eckes lost a little bit of momentum, and then Tyler Ankrum got in the back of Corey Heim right there.
Yeah, it depends. Like, if the caution flag comes out here, does Ben Rhodes win? I mean, it depends on how quickly the caution came out.
And it's hard to tell from the angles which truck was ahead of which when the caution actually
look how
come out.
long Ben Rhodes is ahead here, though, Vince.
Yeah.
Like, that's crashing. They're crashing. Is the yellow out?
And remember, it's not the caution flag waving. It's when they flip the switch to turn the lights on. See Nemechek and Friesen both sliding through the infield travel grass.
DiBenedetto was ahead of Rhodes, whether or not they deemed he had gone below the yellow line to get ahead of Rhodes.
He was definitely shoved down below the yellow line.
How they rule that. Yep, absolutely.
I certainly appreciate what all NASCAR is trying to figure out at this moment. It's going to take a couple of minutes. It could be another truck that needs to drive up there and get in that mix, and that's Ben Rhodes.
And they will know. They'll have a time stamp when that caution light switch was pushed. So they'll know. Then they just have to go back and look at all the video that corresponds with that timestamp.
On board the 99, look for the light on the wall. Looking for a yellow light here.
Right here. It's
The
yellow.
yellow light is on, and DiBenedetto.
Oh, that's where the damage came from.
What about that crew member? That is violent. Oh. Wow. Just too much rear brake right here, Phil.
Exactly.
They locked up. And look at that.
Oh, my goodness.
That's a lot of damage to that right rear quarter panel.
And look at him.
He just
Casually, and he picks up his wrench.
kept on going about his work. That is incredible. He was able to brace himself a bit and take the best angle into the truck that he thought he could do. That's athleticism.
So glad these guys are athletes now. But that is a hard hit right there.
Bam.
You could hear it on the onboard. Goodness, I hope that he's okay. Do I dare say it? It's been...
Oh, trouble.
I almost did. Yeah. I almost did. I didn't even say it. Caution is out for the second time today.
Oh, Gillen sliding
Is that
through
Friesen?
there. It is
Stuart Friesen with a big hit for him. David Gilliland as well goes around.
David dropped to the...
And that brought out this caution.
Wow, those two orange and black trucks got together somehow. And watch Gillen come sliding through here.
I think he made contact with the 35 of Jake Garcia, I think, before he came into view. Not sure exactly. They were at the very tail end of the lead draft.
How did that happen? That was a big hit for Stewart. Both those trucks spun independently, though, didn't they?
It's kind of what it looked like. Although there might have been contact prior to us seeing that. Let's see if we got another.
Here we go.
You see.
Oh, Stewart got together with Eckes.
Was there a little shot from Eckes maybe into the left rear quarter panel of Friesen's?
That was wild for Friesen. No wonder he had the breath knocked out of him.
Another look at it here.
See Eckes all the way down on the apron. It makes me think there was contact between he and Stuart Friesen. See Chandler Smith going through the ground.
Back at Talladega, a caution is out for the third time, and problems for one of our playoff drivers, Grant Enfinger, involved in a 4-truck spin and crash. There's damage throughout. You see Tyler Ankrum probably got the worst end of it, but Grant Enfinger, that front end of that truck doesn't...
To the 16 truck of Tyler Ankrum, and he in turn catches the 88 of Matt Crafton. You see Grant with absolutely nowhere to go. He runs into the side of Taylor Gray.
You see Kligerman slipping through again in that bright orange truck.
Was it the 41 truck maybe of Bailey Curry that was behind
it's so hard to see.
Yeah. Yeah, there it is. That's the 41.
Yep.
Bam. Just lost the momentum off the corner. You can't see that well out the trucks because of the one in front of you, and he just didn't have an idea that they were going to stack up like that.
And it's a chain reaction. The first truck that sees them slow down has a good chance at it. The farther back you go, the harder it is.
Did Matt Crafton slip through this?
No, he has some damage.
Damage on the left rear there.
He's going to get caught by Ankrum right there as Ankrum comes back across the racetrack. Ankrum's going to make some contact with the inside.
That's when you're going to come back to a super speedway race like this.
See these guys pushing down the backstretch. You can bump.
Oh! Trouble in the back. You get the 41.
Tyler Hill in the 56 truck. You were right about another caution, Mike.
Hey, Phil. I think there might be another one after this one.
You weren't even counting this one?
This wasn't the one I was thinking of. Bailey Curry there with some big damage to the left front.
Now this will...
Watch the 23 Grant Enfinger with all that damage right there in the middle. He's pushed around.
He actually gets into Bailey Curry and turns him around. Bailey takes Tyler Hill and Grant. If they don't deem him part of the caution, he will get the free pass.
He kept it going straight. Look, there's some big movement around him, and it just maybe got bumped the wrong direction. Hill did a nice job of hanging on to that truck. NASCAR's saying what, Phil?
The 23 was in the free pass position, but because he was involved in the caution, he doesn't get that free pass.
And I can imagine Grant would say, "What? What do you mean I wasn't in any wreck?"
They hit me.
Oh, you see him? He actually swerved left to avoid the 41 of Bailey Curry, and then looked like Grant maybe lost control of that and then got back into the 41 of Bailey Curry.
Here comes Bailey.
Finish line. This is the Craftsman Truck Series. 15 to go as they wreck. Raja Caruth goes around. That'll bring out the caution. 6th time today.
Did you see while Raja was spinning, Grant Enfinger came way down low. Can't see a lot.
It's Carson Hosebar right behind him.
Just a push gone bad, as you saw the 30 of Vargas get involved in that.
Got under the outside wall, then kept it straight.
Watch, is that? Oh, that's a shame.
Had no idea that was coming. Ryan Vargas didn't.
No, and he was solidly inside the top 20. Been doing a great job all day in that 30 truck. Just minding his own business, and right there.
Just a little bit of push. They're not straight. The trial is not straight here.
That's too close.
See Grant Enfinger way down there, just trying to get even lower to get.
Yeah, Hosebar on the outside as well.
Man, Parker Kligerman's really dropped on this restart. I said, watch the time.
Colby Howard in the 9. Chase Purdy, you just mentioned him, got back in traffic after that issue on the last restart. That'll bring out the caution for the 7th time today.
Hard contact for Chase Purdy.
Colby Howard did some 360s, and he didn't get any damage. Too late.
Yeah. Colby may not even realize that Chase had tried to go to the middle there. It's going to result in a DNF for Chase Purdy, unfortunately, after such a great run.
Yeah, he's trying to squeeze in a hole that might watch the film and say I shouldn't have done that, but it's late. These guys are going to get desperate.
18 of 36 drivers in the field today involved in an accident. On the front row, drivers in yellow are the playoff drivers. Green flag back in the air.
Remember what a great pusher Ben Rhodes has been all day long. He's right behind that Ford of Moffitt.
Both lines really organized right up front.
Gotta watch your pushes. I know you want to give it all you got, but you gotta make sure you hit the guy in front of you properly.
Look at those four. You could throw a blanket over those four trucks up front. Then there's that gap. Back to the next group of four trucks. Corey Heim on the outside. Dean Thompson up there.
Now does Christian flare up? He's got a bit of an advantage, or does he stay down there on the box?
Oh, Matt Crafton gets into Brett Holmes. Trucks wrecking everywhere. Caution is out for the 8th time.
Grant Enfinger in this one as well.
And they're still hitting each other. There's Grant Enfinger.
I didn't think there could be any more damage to the front of that truck, but there is.
Jeff Hensley's watching this video closely, seeing.
That Sanchez tried to go to the middle, very much like the incident we just saw prior to this one. He and Matt Crafton made contact, and that's what started this.
You know, our job is to report as experienced racers what we see causes wrecks, and this is just a situation where it's a chain reaction. One guy thinks he can get in a hole, and another guy doesn't think there's room, and things go all to pieces. You know, whether you hang that on Matt Crafton or if you hang it on Sanchez, certainly
just battling for space.
A little bit of space.
Brett Holmes, tough break. Brett's had a great run here.
Look at all these trucks.
Hard contact.
12 to 15 with contact.
Yeah, Greg Van Alst. Hard contact. See, Nick just fades to the inside, maybe thinking about going through the middle. Not even sure he was going to commit to the middle.
If I'm Matt Crafton, I say, well, he just hooked me. You know, he turned me. But if I'm Sanchez, I'm like, well, I was trying to get in the middle and there was room.
Oh, huge hit for Greg Van Alst. Head on.
Crazy.
Van Alst, big ARCA Menards winner at Daytona. He's good at these places. New to the truck series and a huge hit for him. Brett Holmes hoping for redemption. Finished 3rd here last year. His home track.
I think Raja emerged pretty unscathed there.
Here comes Parker Kligerman. He's run up front all day. Final lap. White flag is in the air.
Next flag will end it. See Moffitt go up to the high side.
Kligerman comes with him. We know how fast that truck's been. There's the block.
Christian Eckes tries to block him, goes to the top. He's on the outside. 3 wide. Through the middle. Brett Moffitt with a big push from Parker Kligerman. Can the inside line get that speed, get that energy? Ben Rhodes is pushing.
Both of those drivers got clear of Chandler Smith.
Brett Moffitt.
Chandler Smith, he's got to run.
Chandler Smith pushing the 34. He takes a look to the outside. Ben Rhodes takes a look to the inside. He hangs on, continues to push. Brett Moffitt. Brett Moffitt with the win at Talladega.
Wow.